Hello everyone, welcome. It is the stream. The chat overlay appears to have had a stroke, has it, Arbla? It seems okay right now. Maybe the pre-stream one was broken. Welcome. It's been a little while, things have been happening. And today we're doing a slightly different kind of stream. It's still mostly the same, it's still mostly politics. Also, I have removed some hair. It's still mostly politics, and memes and such. Nothing's been happening since Achilles. No, nothing at all. We're not going to talk about any news today. Mostly politics, but we're going to be doing a little collaborative project. I've been thinking a lot recently about the way my content is organized and what's best to do with it, and how streams are never the specific way that you grow a channel. They're great for the existing audience, but they're not good for growing a channel. But accessible, optimized content is generally a better way to grow. And I've been trying for years to just keep doing the streams because it's what I enjoy, it's what the audience already likes. But I know that it's not going to cause much growth just doing streams. I have no motivation to actually make shorter content unless, potentially, we make it collaborative. Someone in the audience has their mic open, by the way. Make it a bit collaborative. So my idea is that for streams from now on, they would be generally more casual and less directed towards being the content that's supposed to cause growth. But instead, I'm going to have to mute the person who's got his mic open. Dead air, it's you. Instead, the streams would be a group project session to create videos which would, in fact, cause that growth. And so I did this before, like 2 or 3 years ago, never did it again. But it was relatively successful. And the idea is, and let me know what you think about this, chat. Instead of today just being casually flicking through the news, we'll casually flick through the news and then we'll find a story that is worth making a short video about, 1 to 2 minutes. And then I'll open a video editor and I'll stream the process. There's a lot of questions about how exactly that'll work technically, and whether anyone will be interested in that. But those of you that are still interested in sticking around while that's ongoing can interact with the process, perhaps put your input in there. And I may even add anyone who contributes during the stream as a special thanks in the video. My idea was that it would be a very short video, 2 minutes or less, which would just give the sort of really optimized gist of what's happened, which would be very consumable. And at the end would link back to Cabal. And that shouldn't take too long to do. It should be like an hour long project at the end of the stream to make that. And I have the tech now to record myself like talking, because with AI these days, you kind of have to appear on camera in order for it not to seem like AI generated. And then the video would be optimized towards a sort of 1-to-1 aspect ratio to upload to Twitter or possibly YouTube Shorts or something like that, because I know that that's a good way to get growth. And then I may have to pay Elon for Twitter to get that promoted. So this is the idea basically is some way of optimizing my content so that the streams are better for the community, which is what they're really for. But during that, we produce something that's better for actual growth, which is something that I've been sort of lacking. That's sort of the idea. And I was talking about this with Nomon, and I came to the conclusion that this has a lot of advantages if I can maintain it, at the very least. Salsa is very in favor of this. If you're breaking into the YouTube Shorts market, will you be running that Subway server game as B-roll? I don't know. I'm getting distracted even thinking about it. I need Subway Surfer on the side of my face. You get those fucking AR glasses. Right? We get some AR glasses and just have Subway Surfer running all the time, because real life is just not exciting enough. What a coincidence, Natchez and Wolf share an opinion. They share more than an opinion. Clearly, Salsa has named himself that so that Nachos will dunk into him. Group work. Well, the work is entirely voluntary. I'm thinking that we can do. We'll start with like memes, easy content, light content. Then we'll go into like main story stuff where we're likely to find a topic for a video, and it may not be the video that we expect to make. I mean, today the big news is the Epstein stuff. But what if we find some other story that's more interesting to make a short video about? We might do that instead. So we'll do that. And then maybe we'll do an hour to make a video on it. And then after that, we'll do some more news content. So any of you that aren't very interested in the video, there's actually still a lot of intrigue there because we're not reporting on what's happened, but we are laser focusing on one thing to optimize our understanding of it into a very short sort of script. The actual production part won't take very long. Just recording me talking and then a couple of visual aspects to add onto it. And then we can get back to news after that. This is a experimental thing. We may change the format. I may end up doing the actual video production at the end, and in which case, like half people may leave as I'm doing that, but that's okay. As long as there's still some interest in it, I think it would be a good thing to do because it's still news-related entertainment and content, but it will produce something more useful, I think, than just the streams. This is a good way for me to be able to continue doing the streams while also not worrying about lack of growth. So yeah, that's the idea. So we'll go forward with the stream and we'll try and find some sort of story to do that on. That'll be the sort of ambition. Gradually sort of work through research and then find something. Those of you watching on YouTube, I'm not going to stop. Oops, I'm not going to stop streaming it to YouTube. God damn it! I'm not going to stop streaming to YouTube. But the goal would be that I don't focus on making the streams appealing to anyone but the core audience, because the streams, I mean, I've been trying for years to keep doing the streams and to also grow the channel, but it doesn't, I don't think the streams do that. You have to have other content. So that's the idea. Anyway, let's get started with some memes, shall we? And firstly, you've all heard of the recent Epstein file releases, but here's the most important part of the Epstein file releases. A document released by the US Department of Justice reveals Jeffrey Epstein was permanently banned from Xbox Live in 2013 for violating its policy on harassment, threats, and abuse. Damn, I thought I didn't like the guy. But there's a permanent enforcement action. Or to J-E vacation. G-vacation, I don't know. AI rendition of a new stream policy. Yeah, that's Subway service. Thank you, Salsa. So yeah, the threats. Now, there's another theory as to why this happened, but here's what I find interesting. That's just before Gamergate started. To which this person says, lol, no, this can't be fucking reality. Did Jeffrey Epstein start Gamergate because he got banned from Xbox Live? Probably not. No, but it's a funny idea. Was it Carl Childers that banned Epstein? It's quite likely. He did ban over 7 million consoles, according to him, and tried to ban the N-word in Cabal. Will he also be dissecting the recently released EB files? I'm not aware of any EB files, actually. Rockstar Games president Sam Houser and former GTA lead producer Leslie Benzies mentioned in the newly released Epstein files. Oh, good for them. Well, quite a lot of people are, actually. And we're going to go into that today. I will say on the outset, Trump is mentioned, but in no way that's incriminating as far as I've seen. We'll get to that soon. Next up, this is a post from Nachos. Got stopped by ICE yesterday as a Hispanic. They asked questions, then asked for papers. I showed them driver's license. They told me to have a nice day. So what's the big deal again? This is an r/Miami. A relatively blue city in a relatively red state. And shockingly, it being Reddit, this post, which would not be appealing to a left-winger, was deleted by the moderators. So yeah, that's shocking, isn't it? Ritualist has a second son. Good for him. Yeah, so I think I have that story as well, yeah. The Epstein, Bush, and some rather disgusting claims. Tommy Nacho, she's an illegal. She didn't ask to be tased. True. We're really adding a lot of detail to Nacho's character here, completely involuntarily for her. Next up, graphic. Jeffrey Epstein shared SFM porn of Five Nights at Freddy's characters from 4chan with other people. There's something newsworthy, he says. We don't have video of that available, I'm afraid. Chat, press 1 if you are very downcast that we don't have video of that available. And press 2 if you think it probably is for the best that we don't have video of that available. I think probably it's for the best. Some extra research. Well, I mean, do you think this is what we should make the video about? About the specific SFM porn that he used? What do you reckon? All right. Now then, let's talk about density. I was up to taste me once because I wanted to know what it felt like. Nachos, that's something that like idiot men are supposed to do, not you. I guess you're basically an idiot man in a female body, in a female Hispanic body. Let's talk about density, shall we? Unfortunately, not the scientific concept. That might be interesting. We're going to listen to this this gnome.
What is cultural Bolshevism? That's like the first type of like weird neo-Nazi, or not neo-Nazi, I'm sorry, pre-Nazi stuff. No, during the Nazi Party. I'm not going to be able to give you much detail about it, but I think that Bolshevism was like a rise in like artistic movement in the Weimar Republic, I think.
So, those of you that know your history, and I don't know it that well, but I think I can clear this up, will know that Bolshevism was the movement of communism in Russia in the late 1910s. Russian Revolution, I think 1917. That's what Bolshevism is, and I've done some Wikipedia research. It's all that's needed for this. Bolshevism here, not something started doing the Nazi Party, although arguably it existed in Weimar Germany, I guess. Although a different flavor, I don't know. They have all kinds of different names for these different currents of communism. But yeah, either way, that's what it was, Bolshevism. So he said it was an art movement, and many people have pointed out that this is wrong, and that he assumed that he may be softening the evils of leftist ideology in his interpretation, and trying to blame some of their faults on the right. The most sort of blatant interpretation of this, or the most, shall we say, partisan interpretation of this, is that he is going to try to blame the horrors of the Soviet Union on the Nazi Party. But I don't think that's what he's doing. At the beginning of the clip, you hear him say this.
What is cultural Bolshevism?
Now, later in the clip, he drops the cultural and just says Bolshevism. But he is responding to a question about cultural Bolshevism, which is actually a distinct thing, at least according to Wikipedia. And it is an art movement, music, or sexual movement, a term widely used by state-sponsored critics in Nazi Germany to denounce casual clothing in secularist, modernist, and progressivist cultural movements. The term is closely related to the Jewish Bolshevism conspiracy theory. So if Wikipedia says it's a conspiracy theory and it involves Jews, then it's either true or there's reasons to believe it's true. However, point being, I think this is kind of the same as like pinko or something. Like, or commie or whatever, like an expression used by a right-wing government to, or right-wing government or right-wing cultural movement to refer to communist leanings or radical left leanings or some such thing as a appellation. So what he said, literally, was wrong because he dropped cultural, but I believe cultural Bolshevism is what he was referring to. So there you go. That's the answer on that one. Density, for all his density, is wrong on many things, but on this, it seems to have been a minor slip up with the wording in not clarifying exactly what he meant both times. Now, if you asked him, was Bolshevism a communist movement that started in Russia, I guess he would say yes. I don't know. If you asked him if it's responsible for millions of deaths, he would probably have some longer and less confident answer. But yeah. All right, that's that cleared up. I did see this appear, so I figured I'd clarify. Yeah, should we talk about the penguin? Here is a picture of a penguin walking towards mountains. This has been interpreted by people on the internet as a symbol of sort of anti-conformist behavior, of going out towards the unknown horizon just because it's there. And I like that idea. I'll read out this quote actually on Twitter because this guy puts it fairly well. He says, Reddit doesn't understand that the penguin represents everything they're not. They're content to just exist, happy in their hedonistic materialism. Grind, eat, sleep, wake up and repeat. The penguin wants more. It wants to know what's out there. The dangers don't matter because the question is before it and it demands an answer. Is there more to life, to existing, than the comforting routine? That penguin is more human than any Redditor. Yeah, that nachos. And there's a sort of romantic quality to this. It is a good impulse to have as long as you're somewhat careful with it. Don't take it too far. You end up killing yourself. But that is sort of the point, because that's probably what happened to the penguin. I perhaps shouldn't have, and perhaps you would prefer not to know, but I did look into what's actually happening here. It turns out there is a rather straightforward answer. Well, somewhat straightforward, but an answer that initially seems disappointing, but may not be. So here's the best answer I saw was the AI overview, and it does seem to be correct from other sources I've looked at. So the viral lone penguin image, often called nihilist penguin, which is not how I see it at all, originates from a 2007 documentary by Werner Herzog titled Encounters at the End of the World. While filming Adelie penguins in Antarctica, the crew observes one penguin breaking away from the colony that is headed to the sea to feed. Instead of following, it turns around and walks inland towards mountains 70 kilometers away, a path leading to certain death. Scientists in the film, including Dr. David Ainley, suggest this behavior is not a conscious choice, but rather a deranged act caused by extreme stress, illness, or a breakdown in navigational instincts. So it became popular again in early 2026, which is now, and then it's a lot of stuff been done with it, and it's been AI generated, all kinds of stuff. However, as much as it may in fact have been as the result of illness and like literal insanity that the penguin walked away, there is this paragraph I found. While highly unusual, scientists attribute this behavior to causes including disorientation, illness, injury, or rare exploratory instincts, but not philosophy. So looking like I was looking into, I was trying to find something very nasty and very unpleasant as to what, because there's no way a penguin survives this walking away from the whatever the group collective word is, but and probably it did die. But the reality is, it could have been as a result of its species' pretty uncommon but still present exploratory instincts. So it might be that the actual message of this that people are interpreting from it, not nihilism, but a wanderlust or a need to venture into the unknown, is actually exactly what the penguin was doing. So researching it kind of was a bit no fun allowed initially, but it opened the possibility that it's exactly what people think it is. That it was just a impulse that in this case was not fruitful, but in other cases may have resulted in a new discovery for this group of penguins. Penguins can be Faustian. So yeah, it is a good image, but the reality underneath sort of matches the interpretation, or could match. This chat, he's a hero, end of story. Stop anthropomorphizing the city penguin. We've got both sides of the interpretation here. We've got people saying you're taking it too literally, and we've got people saying you're cheapening this great thing. Well, are you now just learning that there's a difference of opinion here between the two sides? Well, there is. Have fun. Praise the penguins, as nachos. Chat, are we press 1 for pro-penguin and press 2 for anti-penguin? 1 if the penguin, if this symbolism is important and this penguin is a hero, and 2 if it's just a penguin, it doesn't really matter. First heroes are metaphorical. Yeah, sure, that's fair. Hail the victorious dead. Yes. This penguin most likely died, but gave us a hell of an image in the meantime, didn't it? An image with a meaning. It's likely that the total benefit to whatever metric you could have for like complexity or productivity in the universe from the penguin doing this and being photographed doing it was greater than the loss of the penguin's life. So it actually helped. He's doing what Himmel would have done. Yes, I am looking forward to the the full Freeman Series 2 having been released so I can watch it. It appears that Ghost is attempting to supplant my rule of Cabal by replacing me with a penguin. Someone in chat has their mic open again, by the way. He died an explorer of the unknown. True. Malchus, look, I no spoilers for Freeman. I have not watched it. But the one thing I do know about the new series is that it has the look. Spirit, your mic's open. It has the look. It has the chin up look. They actually put it in there, which almost certainly was not in the script. I mean, if it's based on a manga, I assume the manga was written before that meme happened. So it wasn't there, but they must have added it. Has more frames than One Punch Man. Well, there you go. I have heard that's not very good. All right. Next up. Okay. We're going to talk now about the Xbox thing again, but slightly different angle. So, I don't know how verified any of this is, by the way, but I believe it. Bill Gates, Rizless nerd, has Epstein help him get Russian prostitute. I mean, that's already like richest man in the world. You can't, it has to be a prostitute? Okay, fine. Gates gets STD, and I can't believe, richest man in the world, he wants to have sex, but you can't find one that's clean. Did Epstein deliberately give him STD just to get rid of him? Have you seen his wife, I guess? Asks Epstein for STD medicine. Epstein helps him. Gates worried his wife will get STD. Well, it means he was still having sex with her. Gates asks Epstein for help secretly slipping antibiotics into her food. I don't know if that even works. Epstein gets annoyed. Epstein tells Gates he doesn't want to hang out anymore. Gates absolutely seethes. Gates calls in his secret network of assassins, Microsoft staff. Epstein banned from Xbox Live. Epstein was banned for Xbox Live not because Epstein caused Gates to get an STD, but because Epstein wouldn't help Gates slip antibiotics into his wife's food in the hopes that he could prevent her getting an STD because he got an STD from sleeping with a Russian prostitute, despite being the richest man in the world. But what a fucking story. But you couldn't make up half this shit. It's so retarded I kind of believe it. Yeah, it sounds like the kind of thing that would actually happen in this world, yes. Like a badly written fanfic about the Epstein files, but I guess reality is just shit. I actually don't know. I haven't seen confirmation that all of this is true. If you guys have sources on all this, go for it. But it may well be true. Epstein, when he realizes he will have to pay an additional $9.99 a month for a new account or potentially buy a whole new Xbox, he's worth billions from sex trafficking. Indeed. Yeah, we'll fucking get to this. Oh, we've proven to be fake. Okay, that's fine. I didn't know that. Gates wants geeks to build a better condom. At almost the exact same time. I vaguely remember him talking about this, specifically in Africa. But that's interesting. I guess he got it himself. Oh no. I don't think this is real. Chat, what do we reckon? Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin, and Kim Jong-un in the Epstein files. Do we think it's real? 100% real. So, I'm not sure, guys. I'm not sure if it's real. All right. Better how? Good question. I don't know what he would mean by that exactly. Oh yeah, most famous people from each European country according to ChatGPT. Now you're looking at this. Initially, you might think there's a few here that make sense. You got Pablo Picasso. I think he's French. That might be what he looks like. You're William Shakespeare, close enough. You got who else? Christopher Columbus. I think that's right. I can't remember. You got Einstein there with labeled Germany. Well, there's a few here that make sense. Here you look a bit closer, and you start to realize that's not right. That's not quite right. William Shakespeare. That's not Britain. That's Ireland. He's not Irish. Who's Porthchal? That might be real. Actually, I don't think so. Bono. If that's the most famous person from England, we have failed. Napoleon Bonaparte from Germany. That's where he's from. Audrey Hepburn there from Corsica, I guess. Albert Einstein down there from Spain. And then Albert Einstein up there from Germany, even though that's actually not really Germany. That's more sort of Poland. You got fucking Kiev here. Never forget about Kiev. I don't know. I don't know. Some of these names might be real. And then here's Marie Curie. Wow, the cancer really did not treat Marie Curie well, did it? You got Alexander the Great there. I mean, that one might be slightly more accurate. Niels Bohr went through a bit of a process there. Oh, sorry, Niels Bohr, I guess. So yeah, it's not fabulously accurate, but to be fair to ChatGPT, the fact that any of this is accurate is kind of impressive. Think of how much it has to take into account when making this. I love how it's made Scotland into an island here. It's completely disconnected. I was talking with Nomon yesterday about the fact that there is an unbroken ring of water that runs from the Baltic Sea to the White Sea up here next to Marie Curie here. The second Marie Curie on the page, by the way. And to which he said, technically that makes Scandinavia an island. We're talking about how, well, no, it's the qualification of an island depends on the size of the waterway compared to the size of the land. You can't just have a tiny, tiny little sailboat canal or like river canal that goes through and cuts the land, and that counts the entire subcontinent of Scandinavia as being an island. No. But here, the one for Scotland, it's drawn here. That's enough. Yeah, that would be enough for it to be an island. Yeah, there you go. Notal Jung. Where's Notal Jung on here? I don't know. But either way, good for him. Oh yeah, Vincent van Gogh is famous painter Vincent van Gogh. Alexander the Great, famous Ukrainian hero. Kind of big river between Africa and Australia. Yes, there is quite a big river between Africa and Australia. That's true. Yeah, indeed. All right, next up. Epstein list. Democrats pulling off the mask. It turns out Democrats are underneath it. We're going to find out more about that today. And as we're going through, if anyone has more sources, let me know. But I think the upshot of the Epstein files so far is a lot's been made of things that don't appear to be real. A lot of dumb shit. And then there's one thing which is truly horrifying, which might be true. Which that's as far as I've seen so far. And it was a Republican, actually, but it was a very long time ago Republican. But we'll see. If there's anything that you guys have that makes this true, let me know. But the information on it is a bit sporadic right now because it's all just being read. And there's some fakes. Pizzagate went from 100% true to 200% with a 2% margin of error. Well, yeah, well, if you have any more information about that, let me know, because I haven't seen anything about Pizzagate specifically. But about the... That's good. Yeah, that's good. That's good, Wolf. Yes. Let me know if you've got everything that makes this seem true. Oh yeah, I saw this. This Twitter user says, I hope you'll have some LGBTQ representation in the game, to which Knight's Path says, we care about gaming and fun, not modern agendas. So if you'd like to go and support Knight's Path, it seems like might be a pretty good choice. You know what? Knight's Path on Steam. I don't know much about the game. It might end up not being good, but at the very least, the people making it are based. So here's the trailer as a little reward for them saying the right thing. It seems like, especially from the numbers here, and I expect it's much higher in reality, they are one of the companies over the last 5 years who have gradually decided, let's be brave and do the right thing. And more over that time, there are people willing to just stand up and support them because they did that. So here's the trailer. It's very much, I played a lot of Chivalry, Medieval Warfare when that was new. It's kind of that, but maybe more complex. The combat system may be more sort of like Henry Simulator. You got the different directions you can swing in, though I don't know that yet. And the music is lifted from Witcher. Not literally, but it's pretty similar. Looks like they're going for a sort of historical accuracy level of Henry Simulator. Yeah, I'm seeing the sort of directional swing combat that Henry Simulator has. What is the name of Henry Simulator? I can't remember at this point. Kingdom Come, thank you. They put a Dargon in it. I'm not sure if they can decide whether they want to be a medieval combat simulator or Dark Souls. But you know what? They're just going both. Fine. That was a big snail. Cool. Yeah, give it a look, chat. I'll even link it to you because I would like to reward companies or you know, creative projects that that go in the direction of standing up for themselves. I believe it's meant to be mostly historical with some extra fantasy elements. That's cool. Snail is super historical. Is it now? It does say step into a story-driven action RPG set in a grounded low fantasy world. A grounded low fantasy world, you say? That was what the giant snail was for, was it? Well, look, I'm not saying you can't, but it's oh, it's a reference to an actual document. I believe that might be what's called fantasy depiction. The giant snails appear in most medieval art. Damn, they were a real threat back then. Those are giant rabbits. Yeah, rabbits in combat. You know what? Daddy Ball makes a good point. This is historical record. You got to believe this is true if you believe the giant snails are true as well. Maybe this is meant to be a metaphor. Maybe this is meant to be like a commentary. It's meant to say something. I don't know what. But you have to interpret what they would think these things meant back then to understand what the message is. Maybe that coat of arms on the shield, or that symbol on the shield anyway, is meant to be a particular person. And a rabbit was thought of then as being something specific, maybe different from what it's thought of as now. And then the old guy and the snail was meant to represent something. I'm sure it was. Then again, it could have been fucking random. It could have just been what they felt like drawing that day. Or I don't know if this is even real. It might not be real. Ghost says stop being interesting for 5 minutes because he has to be right back. Ghost, I'm flattered that you think that it's something I need to stop doing, that I'm actually doing it at all. Wolf, why are you depicting documentary evidence that Nachos enjoys Bad Dragon? It might have been anti-Semitism actual take by real historians. Fair enough. And a monk acolyte doodling, yeah. But it's not just a doodle, it's color. Again, I don't know if this is real, but it appears to be in color. Nachos is screaming that she does not. Wolf is confirming that she does. Given how close you two have been recently, I'm willing to take Wolf's word on your taste, Nachos. No, I don't, she says. Well, do you want to, justify why you don't? All right, well, that's all the memes I have for today, chat. Let's instead now talk about news. And we'll start with our main story, I think. So, I have here the search for Epstein files. And I guess we'll just go to the main page here. So, let's get the summary here by X to start with, just to get a sort of overview. DOJ releases 3.5 million pages of Epstein documents. The US Department of Justice fulfilled a mandate from the Epstein Files Transparency Act signed by President Trump last November by releasing over 3 million pages on Friday. This final batch, who fucking knows if it really is or not, covers Epstein's Florida and New York cases, Ghislaine Maxwell's trial, his death investigation, and FBI probes, hosted on an age-restricted site with over 2,000 videos and 180,000 images. Unverified public tips in the files allege abuse involving figures like Trump, Clinton, and others, but the DOJ stressed many are fake or unfounded, especially sensational claims against Trump from before the 2020 election. We'll look into those that I have open, and again, if you think there's more I'm missing, you guys let me know. Other details include Epstein's 2013 emails about Bill Gates and an uncorroborated report on Trump, while the experts note the materials are raw investigative leads, not proven crimes. So, that is worth noting straight up, is that there are allegations against Trump in this, but I don't think they're actually well-founded. We'll get to that soon. There are, however, other allegations which probably are. We'll get to that soon as well. So Elon had to weigh in, and by some means it's at the top of the list here, maybe because it has the most interactions, or maybe because he made sure it is. But he says, no one pushed harder than me to have the Epstein files released. Questionable. He says, and I'm glad this has finally happened. I had very little correspondence with Epstein and declined repeated invitations to go to his island or fly on his Lolita Express, but was well aware that some email correspondence with him could be misinterpreted and used by detractors to smear my name. It's already a bad sign if you have any email correspondence with him, which Trump did as well. It's already a bad sign to have any. The fact that Trump was a powerful businessman around that time who was a regular socialite. He rubbed shoulders with big Democrats. It's expected that he would have some contact with Epstein. Not that that's necessarily an excuse, but he's well disposed in his actions after that to remove himself from suspicion for the most part. Elon, I don't know why he would need to have contact with him. He's not social, not a socialite anyway. Although it seems he may have tried. I don't know. If he was, I don't know when, what the slope of his wealth over time was. If he was active in gaining position in the 90s, but he may have been. But up until 2008, there's plausible deniability on being associated with Epstein. After that, there isn't. I don't know when Elon Musk's wealth arrived. He says, I don't care about that, but what I do care about is that we at least attempt to prosecute those who have committed serious crimes with Epstein, especially regarding heinous exploitation of underage girls. He says it wasn't just girls, but it was, I think, mostly girls. So we have a lot to go through on this. And to remind you all of what I said earlier, some of you weren't here at the time, the goal of today's stream is a bit different than most streams in that we're not just idly leafing through the news. My ambition is, and there's reasons for this, I won't go into again now, to try to produce a short video by the end of the stream. A 2-minute summary video of some big news story that can then be posted online, which, as opposed to where the streams are very good for audience interaction and strengthening the interaction and community viewership, the short video, the more optimized video that's attempts to spread differently would be better for actually growing the audience. And I can even put on that video a link back to Cabal, and also probably special thanks to anyone who contributes something significant to its production, like a link or something, or anyone that contributes during the stream, which I'll probably do. But yeah, that's the goal. At some point during the stream, we will switch over to actually video production, and then after that, probably there will be more politics after the video production. So that's what we're going to try and do. There's reasons I want to do this. I think it's a good idea. I won't go into now, but that's the ambition. And this is the main story today for the stream part. It'll probably also be the video that we make, but I'm not sure about that yet. We'll see. I did this once before. I did a stream once before where I made a short video, and it was actually when Elon took over Twitter, funnily enough. I made a short video about it, and that stream was somewhat successful. I was surprised by how many people were interested, actually. We'll make a quick script. It's only a 2-minute video. We'll make a quick script, throw it to, I'll record me reading out the script. We'll throw it together in a video editor, and then we'll maybe publish it during the stream. And I'll probably at some point start paying Elon for Twitter, because that's how you get the videos to spread. And I'll probably focus more on Twitter than YouTube for it, but also learn it to YouTube. So that's the plan. Spirit says, if you want sex appeal for your video, I could start beatboxing. Not a bad idea. I did have the idea actually of doing like Suno background music, but it occurs to me that if I want it on YouTube, YouTube probably has some sort of filter or detection for AI videos, which will probably identify AI created music. So I might have to dip into my fairly extensive royalty-free music library instead, but that should be okay. Spirit uses music from hentai games in his videos. That's interesting. Thank you for telling us. Thank you for sharing, Spirit. All right. Anyway, one thing that occurs to me is that the video editor is a very wide window, and I don't know how it's going to fit in the overlay here, but we'll figure out a way. So that's something we're doing today. And if that's not something that interests you, then I'd understand if you want to leave during it. But you may find it's interesting because we have to sort of compile our information on the thing and investigate something a bit more deeply in order to produce the video and optimize the wording on it to produce the video. And then after that, we'll probably get back to more news. So you may want to stick around anyway. I don't expect the video production portion will take more than about an hour of the stream. Okay, good. Yeah, that's the plan. Anyway, more of this. And the idea of like recording segments and uploading them is not a bad idea, but there's reasons it didn't really work out. Maybe it could have done under different circumstances. It may be something I'll try again in the future. So, is this real? From Jeffrey Epstein to blank in 2009, quote, "Where are you? Are you okay? I love the torture video." I'd like some context on this. Comment of context, please. Let's see if there's anyone in the chat, in the comments here. Open the document in Word, mark the black bar, and make it transparent. Then you're going to know. So apparently that did happen with a Epstein release a little while ago. I can't remember. I don't know if it was the same one, but I'm not sure if this one works with that. Why is it redacted on a legal basis? Why would this name be getting protected? I guess good question. Good question. Yeah, I mean, if it really is a torture video, I don't know if that's technically legal or illegal. Actually, depends on circumstances, I guess. This guy's asking Grok to remove the black box. Grok has inserted Ghislaine Maxwell where the black box was, but there's no reason to assume that's real. It may well have been to her, though. It's fairly likely it was. Yeah, I don't necessarily need context of who he sent it to. I need context of why he's saying this. But never mind. Yeah, that's to be expected. I guess there was I don't think I had this open actually. I think I saw this earlier, but there's this. I'll see if I can find it actually, because this is worth finding. It's a great post by someone. So since 2026 01 25. See if this gets it. No. This was about Epstein. Do you know what I mean, chat? Oh, interesting. Coincidence. I can't see the one I'm talking about. But interesting. I'll open that. There's somewhere is a post. I'm not going to be able to find it. I don't think it's not coming up on this search. Yeah, pretty sure it exists though. It's not coming up on the search, but there's a post where it's like the average person whose worst crime is pirating a movie. I use a VPN and I only use Proton Mail and I'm behind 7 proxies. I'm always very careful about how I communicate with people, even for totally legal things. Meanwhile, Epstein is just, would you like a kid to fuck sent from my iPad? I did see the meme somewhere in Cabal. It was very good, but I don't think I have it open today. Is that a real picture from Nachos? No, the main issue with that UFC is that picture, the hand is too white. To Nachos. I did see that the meme shrine in Cabal ended up being a Spider-Man thread for a while. I don't object. They are memes. There you go. Thank you, Malkitero. You have found it for me. People whose worst crime is pirating movies. I always use a VPN and I only use Proton Mail, and if my password is ever typed in wrong even one time, it auto-deletes everything. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Epstein on a Gmail account with his initials. Yeah, we fuck kids, nigga, sent from my iPad. Yeah, they weren't careful at all. And the thing is, they weren't careful because they didn't need to be. No one was going to pursue them. But people might pursue random nobodies just because they have different levels of power. So I can understand the concern. Anyway, cover that now. Let's see what else we've got. It's a good point, Britwit. Ah, yeah. So anyone remember this?
There's no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And the information we have, again, is limited.
So the answer is no one?
For the information that we have.
In the files?
In the case file.
Okay.
There's no credible.
So this Twitter post says, I remember when this cross-eyed Indian said under oath that there's no credible information that Jeffrey Epstein trafficked minors. Turns out he lied. Cash must resign immediately, they say. Now, I don't necessarily believe him either. And I mean, this is the narrative about Epstein, is that Epstein did traffic minors. I haven't seen in this release, for anyone posting it, evidence that he did. But maybe there is. Maybe I've just missed it. I'll have a look at the comments, I guess. Who are they talking to? Not American. Okay. Definition of traffic, definition of minor. Apparently, Pam Bondi, Cash Patel, and Dan Bongino are all on the Epstein list. I haven't seen any evidence of that. I just want to know if there's what's the evidence of this? Cash Patel committed perjury. Pam Bondi missed a legal deadline. Howard Lutnick, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, newly appointed Fed chair, all knowingly withheld information from the public regarding their ties to Epstein and Associates. But where's the evidence of this from the files? Cash Patel said under penalty of perjury to Congress that there was no evidence that Epstein trafficked victims. Anyone? Yes, but where's the evidence that he did? Trump said files were released, said they didn't exist. So that in all these cases, there's potential interpretations of it that could differ from something incriminatory. And I'm not trying to defend them either. Like, I'm not against the idea that these people have tried to hide things in all this, or have even done things wrong themselves. But I just want to find the actual evidence for it, because I don't want to jump to conclusions. Whose documents from the Jeffrey Epstein case released to the Justice Department showed that U.S. Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick coordinated plans to 2012 to visit Epstein's private Caribbean island. Yeah, I think I have something on that later. Yeah, I don't know if there is any evidence of it specifically. And this guy seems very sure that there is. And the one thing that I think there is in there is a claim about a bush. We'll get to that. So apparently JZ is in the Epstein files. JZ just deleted his Instagram account, and this individual intonates that JZ is fucked. I don't know if he is or where he is in it. I don't know anything about this JZ character. Apparently he's in there. Let's see if there's any validity to that. Jeffrey Epstein files released, too many documents. Facebook Financial Express. How about just the Financial Express? Okay, here we go. JZ and Harvey Weinstein appear in the files. Well, Harvey Weinstein being in there is not that surprising. JZ, is that not on this page? Oh, did they take down this fucking... They took down the post. Maybe it was fake. I mean, yeah, maybe it was actually fake or wrong. It seems to be that there's a lot of misinformation going around on this story. The person who involved himself deeply with Ukraine's ambassador to children and spirit cooking witch JZ was involved in satanic ritualistic abuse. Saying how right, the conspiracy theorists were the latest conspiracy dropped. JZ was satanic spirit cooker Marina Abramovich. Maria is featured in the Podesta emails. JZ is featured in the Epstein emails. Yep, I could see it. Bill Barr and Leon Black present. Well, okay, let's have a look at that. JZ's been named in the Epstein files. All right, this could be actually useful. Approximately 1986, and a man from her home, whence she later awoke in the presence of Harvey Weinstein and Sean Carter, JZ, while Weinstein has inserted his fingers into her something. Someone believes she was in Epstein's mansion in Florida. Abducted on 7 occasions, awaking each time in an opulent indoor setting. Suffered from sexual abuse on multiple other occasions. So, FBI case file in 2019. So, interestingly, investigating while Biden was in office, I think that is. Or no, sorry, that was before. No, that was near the end of the Trump admin. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that's right, isn't it? Yeah. So, investigating while the Trump admin, the FBI investigating the Epstein stuff. Again, it all comes from victim claims, and some of them are not legitimate either. It could be that if this wasn't pursued, that's because it wasn't real, as is sometimes the case. But this does appear to imply that the victim claimed that Harvey Weinstein and JZ were there and potentially raped her while she had been abducted. So there you go. And if she was in an Epstein's mansion in Florida, that would imply that Epstein facilitated the kidnapping or the trafficking. So if true, then yeah, that would confirm it. Let's see what's in here. The Liberty Daily says Epstein victim Bill Barr, Leon Black present while JZ and Harvey Weinstein abused her. Is that in this? Oh yeah, it's right here. She estimated she was abducted on 7 occasions, each time waking up in an opulent indoor setting. She suffered from sex abuse on multiple of these occasions, in which Epstein participated. They recalled Leon Black and William Barr, current United States Attorney General back then, being present during some of the occasions of abuse. In approximately 2006, they last recalled being abused by Epstein. Well, there you go. I mean, that's the claim. Newly unsealed files from the Department of Justice have thrust several high-profile figures back into the spotlight of Jeffrey Epstein's sordid world. As that FBI intake form from July 9, 2019 details harrowing accusations from a woman who says she was reportedly abducted, drugged, and sexually assaulted, setting aside of the convicted sex offender. All those people. The document paints a picture of repeated trauma spanning years. I've read that part already. Allegations of in 2007, the woman claimed another assault at a party where Weinstein and rapper Pusha T were present. Never heard of them. Anyone else heard of that person? Thank you, Nachos. Read the Epstein stuff in the JF voice. Well, I mean, actually, there's a good opportunity for that in a few minutes. I tell you what, right after we've covered this, I will go straight to it. Those specifics on their involvement remain vague in the related document. The victim also spoke of feeling stalked and surveyed, convinced those involved were pulling strings to keep tabs on her. Oh, I should slash grant Nachos. There was another one from last time, wasn't there? Reason. Anyone else who'd like to contribute, I would appreciate it. There is the link. Helps to keep Cabal and the streams running. So let's continue with this. None of these men, Jay said, Weinstein, Pusha T, Black or Bar, face charges related to Epstein's crimes. Again, that could be because of corruption, or it could be because the accusations aren't true, or any number of other reasons. Weinstein continues to serve time for separate sexual assault convictions in New York and California. Representatives of JC have not responded to requests for comment, while Black and Barr have previously denied any wrongdoing in Epstein matters. The way Barr acted with the Hunter Biden laptop implies a certain degree of corruption. Black, the Apollo Global Management co-founder, settled a lawsuit in 2023 accusing him of rape, paid $62.5 million without admitting liability. Barr, who oversaw the Justice Department during Epstein's 2019 arrest and subsequent death in custody, has called Epstein's alleged suicide a perfect storm of screw-ups, but faced scrutiny over his handling of the case. A perfect storm of screw-ups is like the best thing you could call it, because otherwise it's blatant corruption. This release comes amid ongoing scrutiny of Epstein's network, which instead politicians, celebrities, and business titans. Epstein died in Manhattan jail cell, officially ruled a suicide. Questions linger. Yeah, there's not a lot else here. Thank you for linking this. This was the correct thing, but I did happen to find exactly what it was referring to just before. All right, let's go on to the really important thing now. Can I find it? It is. All right. Are you ready, chat? So, there's more JF in the new Epstein files. At least I think these are from the new Epstein files. So, as we all know, JF, Jean-Francois Gariepi, a YouTuber who I have talked to in the distant past, like 8 years ago, who I thought was fairly intelligent, but he had some issues, later learned that it seems likely, not a direct actionable accusation, but it seems likely from evidence observed that he murdered his wife. And we often make jokes about that. And he is otherwise a YouTuber. We discovered, maybe a year ago, that he had got a investment of, I think it was $20,000 from Epstein for his work. What you could imply from that, I don't know. Either way, there's some new records of him in the Epstein files, which we might as well have a look at. And pursuant to Nacho's request in chat, some of you may know that I am apparently quite good at doing his voice. He has a very distinctive voice. So that's what we're going to read these in. Right. Let's see if I can figure out who... Okay, so that's from Jean-Francois. So I don't know who this is to or what it's about. Richard Kahn, HBRK Associates. So, hold on. It says, we must make check payable to 501c3, therefore we will make out to Duke University. Should we still send to your attention at address below? Please advise. Thank you. Maybe this is for the 20 grand investment. Or it's something else. So yeah, a lawyer, probably representing Epstein. Although I don't know that for sure. It is me, Jean-Francois Gariepi. Dear Richard, who shall check be met payable to? The check should be made payable to Neuro.tv Inc. and sent to 401 Downing Street, Apart R. What a name for a street. Jesus. Durham, North Carolina, USA 27705. B is entity a 501c3. No, we have applied though, so we will keep you up to date if there is a possibility for retroactive tax exemption that opens as we obtain the status. C, do we need a specific grant agreement? No, we have not yet discussed of the modalities with Mr. Epstein, and I will be personally discussing this with him further at a later time. Not the first time that I have read something out that JF actually said in his actual voice. But the other times have mostly been like funny or ridiculous. This is him talking directly to Jeffrey Epstein. Or, well, to a lawyer, or talking about him directly anyway. Talking pretty close to directly. It's good, Daddy Will. That blue and white stripe pattern is cursed forever. Thanks, Jean-Francois Gariepi. Oh, right. At the bottom, it shows that, of course, you have to read email stuff in reverse order. Richard Kahn is saying, I work for Mr. Epstein and I would like to send the 25,000 today or tomorrow. I was mistaken about it being 20,000. It was only 25,000. So, yeah. That's what that was about. Has JF commented on this? Good question. Let's keep going for now. Okay, so we already had a look at that. Oh, we're reading it in fucking reverse order, by the looks of it. Yeah, okay, so that's the most recent. Let's have a look actually at the dates. 10th. Yeah, it's in reverse order. So reading from down here, got to start in blocks going up. Okay, so on Sunday, November 10th, 2013, Jean-Francois Gariepi wrote, Dear Mr. Epstein, your trust in our initiative means a lot to me and Diana. I wonder if that's another one he murdered. I am attaching a brochure which describes the different types of partnerships that we offer. We are looking at funding the initiative using two methods. First, the Kickstarter campaign at kickstarter.neuro.tv seeks to gather funds from scientists and the general public who support us and our goal of $25,000. And then Epstein responds with, let's start at 25K. I can't do his voice, as far as I know. Anyone in chat got the Jewish gene? Is he making burgers from his last wife? That's true. That's true. And then JF says, yeah, he writes, Dear Mr. Epstein, which he writes at the start of all of these, me and Diana are extremely grateful for this generous offer to our project. Please let me know when you would be ready to send the money. This will help us with the planning of our budget for season 1 and the continuation of our Kickstarter campaign. Here's the address. Thank you once again for your generosity, which is very moving. We will use this money to produce a unique academic platform that will make its mark in science education history. Do you feel a mark has been made? How dare you, Salsa? Wolf, that is completely wrong. It's completely incorrect. It occurs to me that maybe I should be making notes for the video. Yeah. I should be making notes for the video I plan to make, because otherwise I'll forget. We should put at the end a little, like, JF section, or maybe we could do that. We consider doing that. So, just make some quick notes. 2026. If we do it about Epstein, then consider putting JF segments near the end. So this is why it's intended for the streams to be a little less formal. Hold on. The naming is completely wrong here. For the streams to be a little less formal, because it's community interaction anyway, and trying to make it formal, trying to make it apt for new users is kind of fruitless if YouTube isn't going to show them to anyone. But the actual videos that are produced during the stream, that's different. Nacho says Uzlu needs a secretary. Are you volunteering? You see, that's the reason I don't have a secretary. No one's volunteering. Every tuber or streamer needs a notepad and pencil next to their keyboard. I would find it more convenient to type it, but yeah. If I had developed Kabi to the point where she could do this for me, I'd be quite happy. But I have not yet done so. Cat caught speeding on the A2. Oh, no. Is this real? Physical notepad can't crash and delete all your notes. No, though on a small scale like that, for retention, in the worst case scenario, paper is better. On a larger scale, paper is much worse. Another monitor, mayhaps. I didn't need another monitor. I got a big one. My text editor is not likely to crash and delete all my notes, especially because I have a habit of pressing Control S whenever I make a change to something, which I learned while working with a piece of software called the Games Factory about probably 20 years ago, back when that used to crash almost constantly and delete my games. Anyway, back to this. That we've read. Next is this. Thank you so much for your help. I will be spending the next 20 days making sure the Kickstarter campaign is successful, and I hope we can find some time to discuss in December or whenever you are available. Best regards, Jean-Francois Guérapi. Bear in mind, this is 2013. Oh, that was no one. Thank you, no one. This is 2013. This is after it was fairly well known that Epstein was a child toucher. JF was talking to Epstein. Yeah, you didn't know this, no one? Did JF actually achieve anything or just killing his tarred wife? Well, look up, I mean, we all use, what is it, Nero.tv every day, right? So clearly that was achieved. I don't know, actually. I don't know how that went, but I assume the funding was met. I don't know. What in the fuck, says no one. Yeah. Back in 2013, Epstein invested $25,000 in JF. And this information seemingly is new from the most recent release. You didn't know that? Well, there you go. Nigmon. It's a good point, actually. Did I at any point challenge the... Can you fix the audio feedback issue? Did I at any point challenge the notion that stream voice is supposed to be at a certain level before it actually happens? That shows I may have just given you that for free. I maybe shouldn't have done that, especially because... no one, you're still echoing back. Especially because you do actually have enough to afford to make it happen anyway. Did Epstein supply the tarred wife? That is a good question. I wouldn't be surprised if he was farming them in a potato field, just supplying them.
What about now?
Well, I can still hear you, Nomon. I'm not.
Okay,
I'm on a stream. It's not live diagnostics for one member of the audience, I'm afraid.
Sorry, you were specifically telling me to fix it.
Yes, because you were echoing back, and I knew it was you. Asking you to fix it is the thin end of the wedge that gets very quickly to the point that I just mute you, which I did have to do to Dead M because I told him and he didn't do anything about it. Richard says there is a fix. Start the stream. Oh yeah, we're still in pre-stream. Whoops. Consider making the point of the stream diagnosing Nomon. That's a fair point, actually. Yeah. Daughter of Australia's former Prime Minister leaving Epstein's house. The leader of a country allowing his daughter to spend time at Epstein's home. Oh dear. Thank you for linking this. We shall include this in the video if I end up doing it about this topic, which I probably will. All right, let's continue with everything that we have on this. DOJ requires age verification to view the Epstein files, which is probably for the best, actually. Not that this "are you 18 years of age or older" prompt has ever actually prevented anyone from getting to it if they're underage, but it at least prevents liability from the company. If you put a barrier there of some kind, then a responsible child will tell their parents. But the responsible children aren't the ones you're worried about accessing this stuff. So it's arguably it does.
It's a cover your ass thing.
Yeah, but is it even worth it for that reason? Like, what's it actually doing to stop them? But then, of course, like the only alternative is something much worse, which goes too far in the other direction. Is usually implying he lied when answering that question as a youth? I would never lie. But for the first 18 years of my life, I was born 18 years before that date. 5-hour pre-stream, 10-minute stream, just as the good Lord intended. Thank you, Mavis. Yeah, that is a very distinct possibility. This pre-stream is a good test to see whose mic is open. That's true. All right. Yeah, so I don't know if this is real, but I'll read it out anyway. From Elon Musk to Jeffrey Epstein. Quote, do you have any parties planned? I've been working to the edge of sanity this year, and so once my kids head home after Christmas, I really want to hit the party scene in St. Bart's or elsewhere and let loose. The invitation is much appreciated, but a peaceful island experience is the opposite of what I'm looking for. So, do you really think of Elon Musk as the kind of guy who would be really fun at a party? I mean, I wouldn't be, but where is the wildest party, he says. I got more on him a little later, but the question is this real? I don't know, because other posts about Elon appear to have been fake. But yeah, so let's have a look at this. The opening of the UNGN Associated Party at Epstein's house seems less fun. Musk, ironically, product design engineering for two complicated companies. Moreover, SpaceX is about to launch what is arguably the most advanced rocket in history. Flying to New York to see UN diplomats do nothing would be an unwise use of time. Fair enough. Jeffrey Epstein sends to Elon Musk and says, do you think I am retarded? Just kidding. There is no one over 25 and all very cute. Uh-oh. Oh, 25 is would be legal. But I hope there's no one under 18. I'm not sure what's going on here. Bunch of names on a list. I'm not sure what that's referring to. Epstein's reply, understood, I will see you at St. Barth. The ratio on my line might make Talila uncomfortable. What does that mean? Yeah, I'm not sure if this is real or not, but this one seems more likely to be. There are others that aren't featuring Elon. See what this is? Yeah, this is another thing we're going to talk about. It's closely related to the Epstein story, but not directly. An unclassified FBI CHS, which means classified human sources, I think. Confidential human sources. So a leaker. Report claims that President Trump has been compromised by Israel. So, on the one hand, there are many things that have happened in the last few years that make it seem like this is probably true, or at least very much could be true. I think there are other ways to explain it, but this is certainly one of the most obvious ways to explain it. And it seems likely that most Western world leaders are in some way, to some degree, compromised by Israel. So to many people, this is an obvious statement and would only confirm what they already know. The problem with this is, as much as it may be true, the actual evidence for it seems a little questionable. Let's have a look at what I've got here. So this is where it's coming from. So is this it? Yeah, let's just open this so I can see it a little larger. Okay, the actual part where they talk about Trump is, I think it's either on this page or this page. So the highlighted bits may be relevant, but I'll stick to just, yeah. So it says, Trump has been compromised by Israel, and Kushner is the real brains behind his organization and his presidency. So it's all a bit muddled as to who exactly they're talking about here. But bear in mind, CHS means this could be anyone saying this. But he's giving a lot of information here on different things. But it says up here as well, CHS advised Chabad, which is, if you recall, the same Jewish organization from whom those New York tunnels were built, I think. Chabad, I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong, but I don't care. Chabad is doing everything they can to co-opt the Trump presidency. Chabad is basically state-sanctioned Judaism. It is used by Putin, apparently, to keep tabs on all the Russo-Jewish oligarchs. On the day Trump was elected president, Ivanka and Jared were at the gravesite of Rabbi Shiasum, who was the most powerful rabbi in the Chabad network. Jared didn't disclose his stake in Cadre because of its ties to the Russian state. CHS believed this was or is the real Russian collusion story. Kushner has moved a lot of Russian investment money around. So if there really was a Trump-Russia collusion, but the only reason the Democrats couldn't actually reveal the truth of it is because it involved Jews very heavily, that would be quite amusing. CH is pronounced like clear's throat. Yes, I know, but I also don't care. Like, again, they will speak our language. I'm not going to go around mimicking fucking 7th century Middle Eastern throat noises just to pronounce the name of some evil group. So I'll read the paragraph that has the compromise part in it. Harry, long name, has developed Trump's hotels and is a billionaire. Harry, and it's redacted the name even though it didn't redact it there for some reason, introduced him or her to the Indonesian CIA, speaks Indonesian. Harry bought his Beverly Hills home from Trump at an inflated price. Harry's house when Harry said that Trump told him he was going to fuck Amazon over their military contracts. CHS advised that this was a real collusion story. Trump has been compromised by Israel and Kushner is the real brains behind the organization. I love how fucking muddled it is. How does any of that relate to Trump being compromised by Israel? The only thing is, as it goes on now, there's a possibility that Trump, selling homes at different prices is how money was moved around. I think that's sort of the implication here. But that doesn't necessarily imply that he's been compromised. This is what I'm saying. Has Trump been compromised by Israel? Maybe. Yeah, distinct possibility. Does this demonstrate it? No. Does it claim it with some sort of force of validity? Maybe. But there's very little sort of sense being made by this to sort of group into a compelling narrative. Igor Korbatov brokered the sale of a Beverly Hills mansion Trump acquired for $800,000 less than the market value. So Trump acquired a mansion for cheap. And a Russian named person brokered the sale. CHS, their informant, referenced the attached article that summarized the matter. A small-time scam artist gave Trump a mansion for $0. Why? Published April 12, 2018 by Lance Williams and Matt Smith in Reveal from the Center for Investigative Reporting. It included many facets that don't add up and that the deal warrants further scrutiny and investigators should follow up on the numerous oddities and red flags that the series of transactions raises. Let's have a look, actually. Trump compromised by Israel. See if anyone's reporting on this. None of the mainstream sources, not surprisingly. Middle East Eye is reporting on it. Well, it's interesting that they might have an angle on it, actually. They might be willing to report on it, whereas the rest wouldn't. The Canary's very leftist, I think. Am I remembering wrongly? I think it is. FBI memo concludes Trump compromised by Israel. Concludes no, but I'll have a look, see if there's anything in there that I don't know about. The memo says that Trump was compromised by Israel, that convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein worked with Israeli intelligence. That we kind of know anyway. And that a Jewish religious group calling itself Chabad Lubavitch sought to hijack his first term in office. Yeah, CHS advice. So they're calling it a memo. Maybe memo is technically correct, but it's a report on what... the FBI didn't conclude this. They're just recording what the source said. identifies Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, as a supporter of the group and a key force within Trump's inner circle. On the day Trump was elected president, we had that already. Trump's been compromised by Israel. Okay, so I want to see if this, which says FBI member concludes Trump compromised by Israel and the Epstein files show. Does it? Or was that just the source said that? A declassified FBI memo released on 30th January states that US President Donald Trump was compromised by Israel, Jeffrey Epstein was a Mossad agent, and the Jewish religious movement Chabad Lubavitch had co-opted Trump's presidency. This information from a confidential human source. Where's the concluded, though? Formerly the chief rabbi of Russia, we had that already. Memo adds that Kushner has ties to the Russian government. It doesn't claim that itself, it's just that's what the source claimed. The source further states that Trump had been compromised by Israel. One of the Jerusalem Post Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who has long been friend of the Kushners, and particularly Jared's dad, Charles Kushner, major donor to pro-Israel and Jewish causes. The FBI memo also states that, according to the source, Jeffrey Epstein worked both for the US and foreign intelligence, including Israel's Mossad. See, that's probably why it's a bit dodgier. That's why less of it's less likely to be released. Because he wasn't just working for Israel, he was also working for the US. It was intentional, I expect. CHS became convinced Epstein was a co-opted Mossad agent. The memo states, while pointing to previous for reporting on the issue, go away. Epstein was close to the former Prime Minister of Israel, Ehud Barak, and claimed as a transit spy under him. The memo also says that the source identified Epstein's lawyer, Alan Dershowitz, as the person who told Alex Acosta that Epstein belonged to intelligence. This allegedly led Acosta, Attorney General of the Southern District of Florida at the time, to give Epstein a sweetheart plea deal in 2008 that led to an extremely light sentence for his conviction on charges of solicitation of prostitution with a minor under 18. Labor Secretary during Trump's first term in office. Yeah, that's concerning. Didn't know that, actually. Memo further states that the source believes that Dershowitz, who taught at Harvard Law School, was co-opted by Mossad and subscribed to their mission. For example, Dershowitz told CHS that if he were young again, he would be holding a stun gun as an Israeli intelligence agent. The source learned that Dershowitz influenced many students from wealthy families while teaching at Harvard. 2004 news article, deep ties. So, again, concludes. Home was sold for cash to a Swiss entity associated with the family of Eko Widjaja, an Indonesian billionaire financier. Transaction involved numerous oddities and red flags. Yeah, so there's nothing here to say that the thing concludes this. It's just what the source is saying. So, again, it could be true, but proof we do not have. A claim from someone supposedly of authority on the matter, but only supposedly by the fact the FBI interviewed him. So, could still be true, but we don't have any strict evidence of it more than we did a few days ago. That's what I'm sort of gathering from this. Let me know if I've missed anything with that, though, chat. That might be worth putting in a video if we make it. All right, next thing. So here's some stuff. Yeah. So let's talk about the Trump thing. So Jake Tapper, is this the actual Jake Tapper? Yeah, this is the CNN anchor. So he is probably somewhat gleefully posting the information here, which appears to show that Trump was involved in some very dodgy, evil things. So let's read the complaint summary. Redacted reported an unidentified female friend who was forced to perform oral sex on President Trump approximately 35 years ago in NJ, New Jersey, I think. The friend told Alexis that she was approximately 13 to 14 years old when this occurred, and the friend allegedly bit President Trump while performing oral sex. The friend was allegedly hit in the face after she laughed about biting President Trump. The friend said she was also abused by Epstein. So that's one claim. The response column is interesting. Spoke with caller who identified redacted as friend. Lead was sent to Washington office to conduct interview. So we don't really know what's going on with that one. There is also this criminal history, results matching name and DOB for criminal history in South Carolina, date of arrest, assault and battery, high and aggravated nature in 1987. So this individual who's claiming this does have a short criminal record, but the claim is there. There's also down here, at age 16, while modeling, Caller attended 8 parties at Epstein's New York residence. On one occasion, Caller reported that she was sexually assaulted by Epstein. On another occasion, 2 twin brothers, Alan and Oren, lured Caller and her friend upstairs, but they escaped back downstairs. Caller stated Oren raped her best friend, and a third brother, Tal, raped a 14-year-old girl named Katie LNU. Caller named other individuals involved in a big orgy parties with her, other young girls and older Victoria's Secret models, including Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. So I think what they've done here is they haven't put a line here where it's supposed to go. But for that one, we don't seem to have any information on responsible criminal history. So again, that one may be true, assuming that that's meant to be split in the middle there, where that line is. But if it's not, then I don't know. But the important bit here is on the right. So this part may apply to what I just read, or it may apply to what I'm about to read, but it's definitely there. Complainant was spoken to and deemed not credible. Additional research showed 3 separate incidents involving police which requested in mandatory psychiatric evaluations. So that may apply to what I just said, may apply to this. Online complainant reported she was a victim and witness to a sex trafficking ring at the Trump golf course in Rancho Palos Verdes, California between 1995 and 1996. Complainant reported to Ghislaine Maxwell as the madam and broker for sex parties, clients of whom included Epstein, Robin Leach, and Donald Trump. Complainant reported participating in orgies and that some girls went missing, rumored to have been murdered and buried at the facility. You can see why him and JF got along. Complainant reported being threatened by Trump's then head of security that if she ever talked of what went on there or who she saw, he would end up as fertilizer for the back 9 holes like the other cunts. And then complainant claims to have video of high-profile sex party sittings with the cartels and having witnessed Robin Leach strangle a young girl to death at a party. So some of those 3 paragraphs have this comment that the complainant was not deemed credible. Maybe they were credible, but they were not deemed credible. So for these, and actually somewhere here, I have an article. Not sure where I put it. Maybe one of these actually. Yeah, so there it is. And then here. Troubled woman with a history of drug use who claimed that she was assaulted by Donald Trump at Jeffrey Epstein party at age 13, made it all up. So is this the same one as was claimed here at the top? Don't know. But it's worth noting, once again, as with the previous thing we read about on Trump, these are just claims. They may not be true. The amount of detail in the claims, as with the previous one with the FBI, the detail in the claims, which sounds plausible, implies it's true, but it doesn't necessitate it's true. It might well be, and the two might be linked even. But it is also possible that people do just lie. They do just go on the internet and tell lies. So that said, the woman depicted here, right? If you had been raped at 13 and trafficked, you might end up with a drug problem. Doesn't mean she's lying just because she's on drugs, but then admit she made it up. Yeah, because no one could ever be convinced to admit that they made something up by being paid off. I mean, there's no one wealthy involved in this, right? That could never happen. So we just don't know. And that's the problem with all of this. And it's not even likely that it can be investigated in many cases. Perhaps that's why so little appears to have been done on the Epstein thing, aside from any possible connections between Trump and his cabinet and Epstein himself. But even if there are none that are, really bad, even if there are none, in many cases, I doubt this can be investigated to the degree necessary to really convict someone. In some cases, it probably can be. But witness testimony alone for something this old might not be enough to convict. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's none of this is really confirmed. If it was about Bill Clinton, would I instead be saying that sounds true? I don't know. Maybe. What do we think, chat? Just judging by the character of Trump, do you think it's as likely that he was directly involved in misdeeds around Epstein, as was Bill Clinton? Or are we sort of generally still happy with the idea that even though Trump was friends with him before he realized he was a pedophile, that he probably actually wasn't involved in any of that stuff? Because that's what seems to have been the case up until now. And I don't see anything so far here to change that. Also, the idea of him being, compromised by Israel, again, there's no direct evidence of that. There's certainly some indications, though. So yeah, it's possible. Trump needs to show his penis check for bite marks. Maybe. I mean, imagine, like, I hate to mention it, especially for the many women in the chat who feel uncomfortable with the notion. But any gentlemen out there, if you have or haven't even ever had oral sex, i.e., a woman doing it to you, or whatever you're into. I mean, I know a lot of you are faggots. Have you ever thought about how like risky that is? the part of the body specifically designed to destroy meat is where you're putting your most important, or at least your least, well, the most important, the organ that you probably miss the most. It's just what you're just putting it straight in there. What are you going to do if they get the wrong idea? And to think that you would be stupid enough to be like, yeah, this child who's been abducted and is being forced to perform oral sex on me, there's absolutely no chance that they would try anything. Let's just go ahead and trust that mouth 100%. I mean, quite aside from the, pedophilia being wrong angle, which of course is true and is laid upon all of this quite heavily. Just the notion that you would trust someone who's being forced into it to have your gentleman sausage in their chompers is a very bad idea. Now, Salsa here has posted an image of what I would assume to be nachos, except for the fact that the hand is too white, with the sort of ring mouth insert thing, which I suppose is intended for exactly this concern. The problem is that's too narrow for really any reasonable sized penis. I think it would be fair to say. But that also, like, that would prevent the teeth biting down. But wouldn't it also prevent a large amount of the reason that you do it in the first place? There's no suction. There's barely any contact with the mouth at that point. Gentleman sausage, yes, Sergeant Skeptic, and I will call it that again. You really go opening it, not closing it, opposite of gators. It's I don't recommend it. If you're going to do that, it better be with someone that you really trust. Throat provides the suction, I guess. I'm going to take advice on not comment on this further. As Nacho says, it's all about trust. For instance, I would never allow a cabal woman within 200 miles of me, says Ghost. Wolf, would you allow a cabal woman within 200 miles of you? You don't have to specify which one, we already know. All right, so next thing. Speaking of people in the Epstein files, in this case, people who are much more likely to actually be guilty, Prince Andrew seen hovering over a woman, not literally hovering, you understand, lying on the floor in a series of creepy photos over a woman whose faces are redacted with someone's feet kicked up in the back. Food for thought, Virginia Giuffre, one of Epstein's victims who died by, quote, suicide in April, claimed Epstein forced her to have sex with Prince Andrew on 3 separate occasions, including when she was just 17. So here are the pictures, and that I think it's Prince Andrew. It's not definitely clear that it's him, but I'll assume it is. Just over a woman like this. Now, I hate to say it, chat, because Prince Andrew, there's a pretty good chance that he's guilty of some of this shit. But this doesn't necessarily indicate that this woman is underage, though, of course, she could be. And it doesn't necessarily indicate that she's unconscious. In fact, in the next shot, she's got her hand raised. So drugged, delirious, perhaps. But the only thing we really have to go on here is that these are the Epstein files, and it looks like Prince Andrew. So it's assumed this is someone underage. But unfortunately, once again, there's not really evidence here. It just aids existing narratives. If it is Virginia Giuffre, who would have been 17 at the time, if we can like cross-reference those numbers, then yeah, that's evidence. But we don't know that, unfortunately. Text between Steve Bannon and presumably Jeffrey Epstein planned a documentary shoot on Epstein's private island days before arrest. That's interesting. That is actually new to me. I hadn't seen that before. Could the woman be drugged? Certainly could be, yeah. Newly released 2019 messages show Steve Bannon coordinating with Jeffrey Epstein to film a documentary, including in Epstein's Little St. James Island. They discuss logistics, timing, late morning, Cold Spring Harbor visits with James Watson, airport pickups and island filming. If we can arrange it, can we film on the island? Yes, perfect. The two were coordinating a filming project / documentary likely intended to rehabilitate or humanize Epstein's image as described in related reporting. The plans were cancelled shortly before Epstein's July 16, 2019 arrest. Part of DOJ estate document releases highlighting Bannon's pre-arrest collaboration on Epstein's image rehab project. So I always been a little suspicious of Bannon. Why is Tommy Robinson in this assortment? Always been a bit suspicious of him. But this really doesn't fucking help. Now, there's always a possibility. I was assuming while reading this that he would say, look, sometimes you have to ask permission to go somewhere to film a documentary, even if the person you're asking permission from isn't a good person. And I wanted to do a documentary about what the island was about, so because that's information that no one else would have, and it's very interesting right now. I could see a neutral argument for why he was doing this. And this poster assumes that Steve Bannon intended to rehabilitate Epstein's image. Given how close Bannon has been with the MAGA movement, and how much at that time, even and from then up until now, the ire has been up against Epstein from MAGA. I somehow doubt that he was intended to suddenly heel turn and say, no, Epstein's a great guy, actually. When by that time it was bloody obvious he wasn't. I doubt that's what Bannon was going to do. Maybe he was going to go to the island, do a documentary on just what the island is like and what goes on there, all that, like to just show it. And Epstein was okay with it because he assumed that he could put his argument forward, put his case forward. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that Bannon was trying to rehabilitate him, just produce content people would be interested in. So this guy maybe jumping the gun a bit on accusing him of bad intentions. But it is odd that he did that. Another one here, similarly. Let's have a look what this is. In mid-July 2018, Steve Bannon texted a well-connected associate about LVMH CEO Bernard Arnault, who the contact knew indirectly via ex-French culture minister Jacques Lang. Not sure what to make of this, who could be texting. Okay, this, I guess, is in the Epstein files. This is all a little bit off the course now, but what the hell's going on here? This is too small to view. Okay, what's this? Tom Emerson convicted in contempt case. Is this? We don't know actually who these messages are from, but if it's someone discussing, we can barely read this. If it's someone discussing making the island available for use, it would be Epstein or someone connected to him. We film on the island, yes. All cancelled. Very soon afterwards. Not coming in. So yeah, that may be worth mentioning in the video we do on this as well, because this is likely to be the video that we do today. For those that missed it, if there's any of you that are new, I plan to, during today's stream live, make a short video on one of the topics that we cover. Just a 1 to 2 minute video going over some of the details, which it'll be a collaborative effort. We'll compile the information, and then after that, we'll likely go back to more news. So we're going to do that. Probably fairly soon. We might do it on this story, more likely. Oh yeah. So I must say before going on, I believe, or I've seen someone saying that this is fake, so don't necessarily take it as definite, but it's funny. Hi, Jeff, says Elon Musk. I was thinking of flying down for an epic vacation. Redacted told me you were planning a party, Girls FTW. I cleared my calendar. What are the details? Thank you, good sir. Oh God, it's so Reddit. And then Jeffrey Epstein forwards it to Ghislaine Maxwell and says, deal with this, thank you, in some of the most broken typing I've ever seen. And then Maxwell responds to Elon saying, I'm so sorry, Elon, you just missed Jeffrey Epstein. He actually told me he was thinking of winding down the entire Little St. James operation. Bummer. If it starts up again, we'll be sure to let you know. Now, the problem with this being allegedly fake is that it's believable, because that's just the kind of guy Elon is. Or maybe just was. So no email with the phrase Epic Island Vacation appears in the release document if you search the Epstein Files archive. The phrase deal with this, thank you, visible in the image, doesn't appear in any of the documents either. So this looks like it's fake. Email exchanging the original post is fake. Sorry, usually I'm more cynical, they say. Except this email is my apology. This one is real, it says. Elon says, we'll be in the BVI St. Bart's area over the holidays, so a good time to visit. And any day, 1st to 8th, play it by ear if you want, always space for you. He's rich enough, there's always space for him. Okay, probably the first day, and they say, the 2nd or 3rd will be perfect, I'll come and get you. Fly back to LA on the night. So they actually did go and visit, apparently. So when was this? 2013. What was Elon doing on Epstein's Island? Or not the Epstein's Island, but one of them, I assume. What was he doing there in 2013? So Elon himself, as I mentioned, he said, no one pushed harder than me to have Epstein files released. Had very little correspondence with Epstein, declined repeated invitations to go on Flyers News Express, but was well aware that some email correspondence with him could be misinterpreted and used by detractors to smear my name. Okay, how do you explain this one then? Where is it? The one we just looked at. Not that one. That one. How do you explain this? In 2013, you were going over to visit. How would you explain this? 2013, he was trying to get investors for his shitty Hyperloop. If that's it, that's still within the span of time when Epstein was known to be a pedophile. So is there an explanation for this? I'm curious to find out. So let's see if Elon himself has said anything about it. From Elon Musk. I think it's just that, isn't it? Island. He says that he's not been to any of Epstein's parties, his plane, or his island. Well, you said you would. While both names appear, the circumstances are vastly different. Elon's name appears as a possible schedule item and question only. Prince Andrew appeared on Epstein's flight logs and settled as a related civil case regarding sexual misconduct. No pushing the false narrative as contempt. Epstein tried to get me to go to his island and I refused, yet they named me even before Prince Andrew, who did visit. Okay, and that's a different problem. What is on a Labour Party? Okay, that's not the same thing. That's a problem, but it's not related. Okay. I'm not sure how to explain this then. If this is real, which, given that he's given a direct link to the file, verified my arse. Given that there's a direct link here to the file itself, I expect it probably is real. Yep. There it is. That is straight from the FBI's website. Where was I? From there. Yep, justice.gov. It's the right website. Elon Musk. Can we still do the trick where we highlight this? See if we can just inspect element. Can we not select a specific thing? This. White space. Okay, there's no text in it. How are they making it black in the CSS? Not sure. Either way, there is no text in it. You can't highlight it to get the text, unfortunately. Apparently, you could in earlier versions. So Jeffrey Epstein wrote, yeah. So it's real. Elon Musk was asking about coming to your on Jan 2nd. Yeah, it's a real document. Don't know why. Why there's no explanation from Elon on that, why he would be doing that. Yeah. I guess we could put that in the video too. So what we got next? In 2009, a 21-year-old Gabriela Rico Jimenez was filmed after claiming she had attended an exclusive elite party. She was never seen again. Now, when the files have been released, Epstein's victim claims elites did the same. This isn't coincidence, surely, it says. Again, they are just claims, but these claims are rather horrifying, and this is the sort of main feature as far as I can see. That's interesting. I'll start myself something correct for once. Okay, so any children listening, don't. So, interview of purported Epstein victim. I'll read this verbatim. This is, I think, is a summary of the FBI investigation, the interview with the purported Epstein victim. This is what it says. I'd like to add a few other points disclosed by the purported victim. While on this yacht, he witnessed African-American males having sex with white blonde females, all of whom were bleeding during intercourse. He was a victim of a type of ritualistic sacrifice in which his feet were cut with a scimitar, but left no scarring. On the yacht, he witnessed babies being dismembered, their intestines removed, and individuals eating the feces from these intestines. He was also raped by George Bush I. Victim disclosed he was escorted to the FBI building by Michael Moore, who is the creator of True Pundit, described by multiple online sources as a conspiracy-driven news website that attempts to paint the FBI in a bad light. Moore has a criminal record as a result of an FBI investigation, copyright infringement. Let me know if you want to discuss the former FBI agent that called this into the head office. And then, thanks, redacted, I didn't realize Bush raped him too. Okay. And then he has more to tell us too, he said. That's interesting. So yeah, that's rather a horrible claim, and I shan't read it again. But it is just a claim. We don't know if it's true, much like the others. But given the specific detail of this and the other claims, there's a fair chance they're true. And then you got this little video. For those listening, she was ranting and raving, shall we say, on a street corner about they were eating humans, they smell of human flesh. Now, maybe she was crazy, but maybe she had been to an Epstein party. There's always the dichotomy, isn't it? Let's look up this person. We will probably need to know for later. Mexican model who became the center of a mysterious unsolved case after vanishing in 2009 following a public mental breakdown in Monterrey, Mexico. Gordon Brown was involved? Wow. Okay, I'll have a look at that in a second. Thank you, John Wick. On or around August 3rd to 4th, 2009, a distraught, barefoot, and disheveled woman identified as Gabriela Rico Jimenez appeared outside a high-end hotel in Monterrey. The accusations in a recorded outburst, she rambled about being held captive, accusing powerful elites, including business moguls and politicians, of satanic rituals, human sacrifice, and cannibalism. Following her, she was taken into custody by local authorities, reportedly for a psychiatric evaluation, and was never officially seen or heard from again. As of 2024 to 2025, her whereabouts remain unknown, and her case has fueled numerous conspiracies regarding her, the modeling industry, and elite corruption. The details remain unclear following the incident at the hotel. Reports indicate she was taken into custody by local authorities. What happened after that point has not been definitively established, and her current whereabouts are unknown. The lack of concrete information from official sources and her family has contributed to the mystery of her case. The case is considered unsolved. So, are we feeling a tiny hint of suspicion here, chat? I think this is worth putting in the little video that I make. What do you reckon? A tiny bit suspicious? Put that on the list as well. Now, maybe the reality is that she's just got lost in the bureaucracy and that she's actually in a mental hospital. Maybe this wasn't even her real name and you can't find her by this because it's not her real name. There's other things it could be, but that's pretty fucking suspicious, given what we know. We'll have a look at that, though. All right, speaking of bad people, former Labour Prime Minister Gordon Brown allegations. Brown is accused of raping a 9-year-old girl and being part of an alleged child sex ring. Apparently he's made remarks on these matters. I don't know what they are. I want actually a better source on this, where it can link to the article. Gordon Brown, Epstein. Okay, that's different, but that's interesting. I don't know if that story is real. Gordon Brown denies ever meeting Jeffrey Epstein. Mandelson and Epstein is not that surprising. I'll read this, but I don't know what this is from. Unverified claims. The whole cabal. Here we got a mention. I don't know what the source for this is, which is a shame. And I can't find it anywhere else either. Gordon, let's just look it up on X rather than Google. Gordon Brown, Epstein. Asking him for an explanation of why he is named in the disclosed Epstein emails. That's not recent. It's a couple months ago. The text in the image isn't from the released Epstein files. Those documents mention Gordon Brown in emails, but not these abuse allegations, which trace to unsubstantiated conspiracy sites like whale.to. Brown has denied beating Epstein. Brown's known for sexually abusing. So they all come from this screenshot of a text document. No credible allegations of Gordon Brown raping a child or involvement in a sex ring. He has denied meeting Epstein. Few available sources on this claim. No official Epstein court documents accuse Gordon Brown of child rape or sex ring involvement. Such as show unverified online material, possibly tied to Musk's separate claims about Brown's handling of grooming cases, which he denied. The accusations not proven. Yeah. So the Epstein files don't contain these allegations. Not saying it isn't true, but this might be complete bollocks. It says Brown is known for sexually harassing numerous boys as well as girls. He's known for a particularly vile rape in Aberdeen in the 70s. Well, would you be able to tell in Aberdeen? When he and 2 others paid a prostitute for access to her 9-year-old daughter, they all raped her several times, and some years later the girl went to court to get custody of her little brother because of her mother's abuse and drug use. She won the case and has had custody of him ever since. The records have vanished from court, but the victim still remembers what happened and who did it. in the early months of 2003, just prior to the questionable invasion of Iraq, and working in conjunction with a London-based freelance journalist who had thoroughly double-checked exposures published by the Scottish Sunday Herald newspaper. I publicised details of a child sex ring linked to senior ministers within the Blair government. There's nothing here to tie it to anything. It could be true. It could be true, but there's not much information here. Not much sort of verification here. All right, I think we're near the end of what I have on the Epstein files for today, but if you have anything else, let me know. This is somewhat interesting. Jeffrey Epstein said on July 28th, 2018, that he spoke with the president of Ethiopia and Eritrea, and that they have agreed not to do any more work with the Chinese, and that there is a possibility of the two countries becoming one. He said, literally, note, I spoke with the president of Ethiopia and Eritrea. They have agreed not to do any more work with the Chinese, as they now understand the trick. In fact, there is a possibility of the two countries becoming one. Well, at least if we can say for sure, for one thing, if Epstein was working for Israel and the US, whatever evil things he may well have done and did, at least he occasionally tried to block China's ambitions. I doubt that was worth it. The trick. Yeah, I wonder what he means exactly by the trick. I'd like to know, but I've not seen, if you ever seen anyone type as, like, oddly as Epstein, you get Chinese, you finish a sentence with a full stop, space, exclamation mark, 5 spaces, new, like starting a new text, but it should have been from the same sentence. He hasn't capitalized it. Gets to the end of that sentence, full stop, 5 more spaces, capitalizes it to start the sentence. It's so discordant. like here as well, like Ethiopia and Eritrea, 3 spaces, comma, space, continues typing. Why would anyone do that? Like, that's why he should be punished. Cheap fake Photoshop, not Photoshop. He gives a link to the source. I mean, why would he Photoshop this? It's not, if you were going to lie, you come up with something a bit more juicy than this, I think. So, yeah, it's a little bit interesting, but I don't know what we can say about that, really. So, it's a question, chat. I guess so, Marcatillo. Well, the thing is, AI can type well. That's not the problem. The formatting is not the problem, really. Yeah, chat, if you want people to believe that something that you've written wasn't written by you, just use EM dashes. So, okay, here's the question. I'm going to do this video idea today, where I'm going to switch over to actually like editing and making a video at some point today. Maybe I'll do it at the end of the stream, just because I don't know if it's going to be interesting to many people. But I do want to do that. If I do that, which if I don't do it today, I'll do it another day. My sleep hasn't been great recently, so I might not do a long one today. If I do that, is it worth doing it on this? Because there's not much verified information right now. It's going to be a lot of, ooh, I don't know. But I guess that's the point, isn't it? I guess the idea of these little videos is to compile the important stuff together, to just be like a bite-sized summary. The 2 hours that we spent on the stream so far, about an hour and a half of which, maybe an hour of which, was looking over all this stuff. Can we condense that into 2 minutes? Get the important information in there? Probably. I reckon we could. So that's the premise. I'm going to put a little poll in chat as to what we do. I guess I'm sort of asking 2 questions with this, and I may not do what you guys recommend, but this is the idea. For video, make video now on Epstein stuff. Make video at stream end on Epstein stuff. There we go. The poll is out. I'm curious what your opinion on this idea is, chat, and how we should go about it. And this may influence what we do. So, what do for video? Make video on different topic has got 1 vote so far. Make video now on the Epstein stuff. For this, we would switch over now to video production, I would write a quick script with chat's help. I can share screen for the actual script production. I'll change the currently casting to make that clear. Make video at end of the stream on Epstein stuff. Since some of you may not be interested in the video production stuff, we can save it until then. But I will probably therefore do a shorter that part of the stream. Maybe we're 2 hours in now. I'd maybe stop at 3 hours on news and switch from then directly onto video production, rather than going for the more sort of normal 4 hour thing. Make a video in the inherent superiority of the Penguin. I maybe could do like. Only thing is with the Penguin, I don't know if I could really justify a sort of video on it, because I don't have that much to say, especially not that hasn't already been said. And then if you just generally wouldn't enjoy the video making process, then click that. And then if you think different topic is better, you click that. So it looks like the majority so far are saying, do the video on the Epstein stuff, but do it at the end of the stream. I maybe should have made an option for make it on a different topic, but do it at the end of the stream. I think that's what we'll do then. We'll do it a little later in the stream, because maybe later we'll switch over to doing it in the middle of the stream, but for now we'll do it at the end, because a lot of people may not be that interested in the video production stuff. Penguin video would be your breakout into super popularity. But what would I actually even say? You know what? That's quite good, actually. Yeah. Chat, do you find yourself in this position? Yeah, let's not give ourselves too much credit here. I mean, that Penguin, don't forget, did this for no benefit. He didn't need anyone to see him doing it, and he probably died. Assume for a second it was a noble thing. Anyone that's talking about this isn't just doing it. Now, I'm not claiming to be doing it, but some people may be. He lived and he's in Agartha. I see. Arbla's face down in the snow right now. Well, until you die of exposure, are you really a brave penguin? Yeah, Daddy Bill. It's good. That poor guy. He had his waifu. They're gonna die of exposure. I think if I'm going to they survived, he lived. That's good. If I was going to make a video on this, I'd want to like craft it quite well. But the idea of these videos are they're going to be quick to make summaries of the news where I just like condense everything that I've read into a really short summary. If I was going to make a video on this, I'd want it to be like a high quality, like artistic expression of the notion being displayed here. But honestly, it doesn't speak to me quite as much as it speaks to some other people, I think. So I don't know if I'm the one to make it. But I do, this is clever. They survived. He lived. Then he died. Most likely. No, he made it to the mountains. He found Hitler there, and they went into the Hollow Earth. And now the Penguin sits at the side of Hitler's throne, waiting for the day that they will retake the surface. Are we on board with this narrative, chat? Is this? Are we gelling here? Are we thinking this is what actually happened? Yes, canon. Yeah, the truth. Thanks, Malcatillo. I didn't know Freeman had such a strong opinion on Hitler. Right. Okay. In that case, we'll do that then. We'll switch over to a different story now. And then we'll come back to the Epstein stuff a little later. Those are gone. Thank you, Discord. Let's reobtain those. Oh yeah. This is fucking hilarious. I don't know if it's true, but it's big if true. Nasra Ahmed, the lady who went viral for saying Somalia is more than bananas and rice, has been arrested in Minneapolis for assaulting federal officers. Couldn't have happened to a nicer banana and rice golem. Nasra Ahmed. Is it true? Ready, chat? Actually, right now, if you know, you can't say. But press 1 if you think it's real. Press 2 if you think it's a made up image of a not real article. Yep, it's real. It's real. I figured it was, yeah. Viral bananas and rice Somali woman arrested for allegedly participating in Minneapolis riot. A Somali American woman who went viral for describing her identity as bananas and rice was one of 16 people arrested in Minneapolis and accused of participating in a riot as federal authorities escalated enforcement after clashes with protesters. Some of you may have known whether it was true or not, because this is from a couple of days ago now. The woman, Nasra Ahmed, 23 of Minnesota, rose to national prominence after remarks she made during a Jan 21st news conference comparing Somali American identity to a cultural mix she described as bananas and rice, a phrase that quickly spread across social media. But she really fucked up because she was trying to express what else is good about Somali culture, but she couldn't think of anything because there isn't anything. Chat. Press 1 if bananas and rice sounds like it could be nice. And press 2 if bananas and rice sounds like one of those joke combinations of food, which actually isn't nice. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because you hear people say, what is the, like deep fried Mars bar is one, which is a little bit older, but there's others where there's like joke combinations of food that are like, actually, it's really nice. You'd be surprised. I'm sure chat could think of a good example of one, because there are good examples where people have said, actually, it ends up being really nice. But that's one where like you expect someone claims it's really nice, and then you try it and it's fucking awful. Or like they claim it just to troll you or something. But I can't imagine that would be nice. That sounds like the kind of thing which you would make if you had nothing else. If your country's economy was based on bananas and rice, like rice is cheap and bananas grow quite easily in certain climates. And I think we talked about before that it's not bananas even, it's plantains. Bananas and rice is what an ape in a Chinese zoo would eat. Yeah. Federal agents have arrested, there she is, arrested 16 Minnesota rioters for allegedly assaulting federal law enforcement, people who have been resisting and impeding our federal law enforcement rights. They have a height as well. There she is. Yeah, get rid. Get rid. Good. Probably not going to be held that long, but maybe. We can only hope. I got this one. What was this? Breaking. Tim Walz says he will never run for an elected office again. Look, mate, you didn't have to say that. You're never going to get any votes again. No one would ever want you in position. The rape mail leaves. That it do be like that, Tim Walz. This comes just after Trump said that he had a very good call with Tim Walz, which essentially means that Trump started the call by saying, look, we're just going to fucking kill you. And then Tim Walz was like, oh, okay, yes, sir, Mr. Trump, and he'll just do exactly what he wants. I mean, many of us want Trump to be that based, but also if he is that based in secret, like if he is that based and would say that, it might be a bad idea if he was too often public with that, because that goes quite far and it might give the press and others opportunities, and a lot of his more moderate supporters might not like it, as indeed popularity of ICE has been decreasing during this because some people don't have the courage of their convictions. But hey, unfortunately, they are voters. Then again, does he care? Should he care? No. He's already been elected, then again for the midterms. But after the midterms, he certainly shouldn't care. If after the midterms he suddenly changes and gets a lot more base, well, I doubt it, but it would explain it. But I don't think he will. Toast, I'm not assuming any narrative there, just suggesting narratives. But yeah, that's a distinct possibility, though, is that he lent on Walz and said, we're just going to start taking action. We're just going to declare the Insurrection Act, we're going to replace your entire government. So Walz either has the choice of remaining in power until the end of his term or being removed unkindly. And that I find is more likely than the notion of we're just going to kill you. Okay, fair enough, Toast. But some sort of leaning, some sort of pressure on him. And part of the arrangement probably was for Tim Walz to say this and perhaps other things that he'll never run for elected office again. Now, why would you believe a politician's promise? Him saying this does nothing. The only thing it may do is that when if he ever did run for office again, not that he actually would, if he ever did run for office again, then he would, the press would refer back to this, or someone would be able to refer back to this and say, you said you wouldn't do that. But what difference would that make? Not much. A little bit perhaps, but not much. He very well might get more publicly based in rhetoric once they lose in the midterms. Unfortunately, from what I hear, it's not looking too good for that. But he can't claw it back by becoming more based in rhetoric. I don't know, the last half of his term may be a little interesting because he won't have any Democratic mandate to appeal to. He will have to maintain the support of his of the Republican Party in order to get things passed. But that's about it. All right, see what else we got. Oh yeah, so this is a good summary, actually. I should use this. Here's what has been found in the Epstein files so far. Jeffrey Epstein gave Bill Gates STDs to a Russian victim. I guess I should find the details of that, shouldn't I? Jeffrey Epstein got permanently banned from Xbox Live because he was insulting people in voice chat. Let's refer to the summary image. Jeffrey Epstein was watching Yuri hentai and FNAF futa porn on 4chan. Jeffrey Epstein met with the 4chan owner, and shortly afterwards, Poll was created. Ghislaine Maxwell was a high-ranking moderator on Reddit. I think we knew that already. Elon was in close contact with Jeffrey Epstein. That does appear to have been true. George H.W. Bush sacrificed a child and raped one, apparently. That's Bush 1, Bush Senior, I believe. Confirmation that Trump was bought by Israel. Not confirmation, no. A claim, but it may be true. Pizzagate's probably real, they say here. Well, that was already known. It was probably real. Jeffrey Epstein viewed Goyim as cattle that can be mistreated. I didn't see that, but I wouldn't be surprised. Jeffrey Epstein watched torture videos. We did see that, but again, not exactly clear what happened there. It was just one line of text. And Jeffrey Epstein worked for the Mossad. That was already pretty much known anyway. And these are just some of the things that have been found so far. You literally can't make this shit up. You literally can, because you did make a few of them up. But I think that was due to your misunderstanding, not others. Either way, it's a decent summary. I'll refer to that later. Anyway, back to Minnesota. Justice is coming. Border Czar Homan vows reckoning for anti-ICE groups. I really hope that Trump has sent Homan there because Homan is the one to, fuck him up. Hope so, but I don't know. Now, what's this? The maiden.
If sadly you're raped.
Yep. Did you spend the last 5 minutes looking for that? Border Czar Tom Homan said Thursday that far-left groups accused of funding and organizing attacks on immigration and customs enforcement will be held responsible. Quote, about the organization and the funding of the attacks on ICE, I'm not going to answer a lot about that because I'm not going to show our hand and they'll be held accountable. Justice is coming, Homan said at the Minneapolis press conference. I'd love to think so. So far, the Trump administration has been a bit disappointing on that front. He also criticized the heated rhetoric aimed at ICE officers nationwide, urging people to ease tensions according to the New York Post. Unfortunately, it's not likely. Quote, I begged for the last 2 months on TV for the rhetoric to stop. I said in March, if the rhetoric doesn't stop, there is going to be bloodshed, and there has been. I wish I wasn't right, he says. I don't want to see anybody die, he said. Homan explained that reduced hostility could allow federal authority to scale back their presence in Minneapolis. He said discussions with Governor Tim Walz and Attorney General Keith Ellison have already led to plans for a partial drawdown. Now, partial drawdown, you could interpret that as Trump being willing to just give up Minnesota because there's too much violence. But the idea of we don't need them if you're going to be less violent, and we'd rather you be less violent, so it makes sense for both of us. But there is a narrative there that is less resignatory. But it wouldn't look great then again, if they calm the fuck down first, and then ICE draws back some troops, some men or whatever, based on the discussions I've had with the governor and the AG, we can start drawing down those resources, Homan said, adding that agents could focus on criminals in a jail with much less people. The drawdown is going to happen based on these agreements, but the drawdown could happen even more if the hateful rhetoric and impediments stop. It doesn't sound good, does it? It sounds like he's asking nicely for them to stop being mean, and he's going to retract a bunch of ICE first. I hope that's not the case. Homan said any reduction will depend on cooperation from local officials and warned that agents could be redeployed if support declines. About 3,000 federal officers are currently stationed in Minneapolis, far outnumbering local police. Many of the local police, in fact, joined ICE. New York Post writes that he said federal authorities have made progress and will remain in the city until the problem's gone. Addressing criticism from city leaders, Homan said local officials are not being asked to enforce immigration law. To be clear, we did not agree with Minnesota state and local officials that they would be involved in immigration enforcement, he said. I'm asking them to be cops working with the police, working with the cops to help us take criminal aliens off the street. He's saying that if he no longer needs to use federal agents to defend other federal agents, those extra, yes, I agree. But he is also saying the drawdown is going to happen. I guess that could be conditional based on those agreements. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so yeah, the way it's worded, a little bit ambiguous. It could be interpreted as him saying that he's going to start it now, but it also could be interpreted as him saying it's contingent on how things go. So, okay, fair enough. Under the revised strategy, Homan said ICE will focus more narrowly on criminal offenders while continuing overall enforcement. If you're in the country illegally, you're never off the table, he said. We're not surrendering our mission at all. We're just doing it smarter. Okay, fair enough, Evelyn. I guess the Minnesota police started to do their job because Waltz backed down to Trump, most likely. That's what it seems like. What is it with women in Cabal liking purple? Nachos, Aiden, and 8-Bit, all in audience right now, although we haven't moved from pre-stream, actually. All purpleoids. Explain. Made in a factory. They are, like, probably, I don't know, like, genetically, they're all quite different, I suppose. Actually, 2 of them are Hispanic, so there you go. Best color, says Nachos. I mean, Nachos, it's the color liked by... It's the most favored color by women in a sample group. That being Cabal. Does that not make you feel like you're just doing the same thing as other women are? Not much of a misogynist, are you? They're trying to be Amelia. That's true. Aiden is Hispanic? No, the other two. The other two are Hispanic. Right, well, we'll see what happens with him, with Homan. All right, what else we got? Yeah, so there's an anti-ICE website, which was hacked. StopIce.net now says, we were not kidding. We sent your names, logins, passwords, and locations to a bunch of government agencies. Sherman Austin is a terrible coder, so are RC Concepcion and Matt Barron, who I assume are the owners of StopIce.net. If it's a hastily thrown together site with a big political involvement, or where it's going to have a lot of enemies, then it's quite a good target for hackers, I would imagine. They're going to have used something that has an exploit that is known about. So let's, at the risk of going there, StopIce.net. Looks like they've recovered it. They're basically reporting on what's going on in certain places. They mention the hack? Yeah, server attack against StopIce.net. Traced to local CBP agent's personal server. A server attack attempted to target StopIce.net and queue false text alerts from our downstream carrier to our platform. The attack was quickly isolated and neutralized. Still happened, though. Also traced the source of the attack back to a personal server associated with a CBP agent here in SoCal. He did not do a good job covering his tracks nor did his associates. Why would I believe you? And also, why would he need to cover his tracks? Stopprice.net remains online and functional, has not been overrun. Please be aware of false rumors being spread by Margaret trolls. Others looking for a hot moment. Wouldn't you like a hot moment? So yeah, they got hacked. And they got it back. They claim to have tracked the source, but they might just be saying that. Bun says, isn't purple also associated with royalty in some way? Are you saying that all women think they're princesses? No, says 8-bit. No, says Nachos. Chat, let's do /support princesses. And if that gets to the top of the board, then any purple woman will be renamed Princess, their actual name. Aiden's a monarchist. She should be okay with it then, right? Isn't Princess just another term for Discord kitten? I suppose it is. Princess Nachos of Cabal, indeed. Purple princesses, that's true. I guess support that one as well. /support purple princesses. Democrat Aiden. /support Democrat Aiden. 8-bit's trying to cover up the real reason she's using purple, that being because she's a princess, by implying that she likes some sort of anime character. Major Kusanagi. Haven't seen that anime. At some point, 8-bit, you've got to show me that anime, and I'll watch it with you. But until then, we've been watching Spy X Family recently, which I think is very good so far. Pretty princess, indeed. Support Democrat Aiden today. True. A lot of you are supporting princesses and purple princesses. Use purple princesses, actually, that one's better. But not many of you have a lot of redeemed coins right now. So you'll need to do /redeem, Ghost in the Shell tonight, asks Ice. If 8-bit is around after the stream, then yeah, quite possibly we could. I am already on Spy X Family though, and no one is here. We're watching it with no one. So maybe we'll do that. You never watch Git's Standalone Complex? Oh, Ghost in the Shell. I haven't watched any Ghost in the Shell 8-bit, no. Watch Berserk. Well, if you want me to watch something, then like come watch it with me. I don't tend to watch things alone. Oh, someone denounced Purple Princesses. I wonder who that could have been. I want to go in the shell. Get in the robe. Get in the shell, Ghost. How did you find the account summary again for Redeem? What do you mean by account summary? You've got /aids shows you all the things that you have supported. Do /c to show your current balance. And then you can redeem from there. So do okay, the balance, yeah. /c. And then from there, you can do /redeem. And then once you've redeemed some of your credit, everything that you supported gets boosted by that much. Wolf, are you sure that you should be leaking those DMs? Has Die been around for Free Run Series 2? We're waiting until Free Run Series 2 is fully released, but as soon as it is, Die is one of the people who I may well watch it with. Thank you for the redeems, lads. Let's have a look at the board now. Purple Princesses is now in 5th. It's making its way up the board. I will put that public. There you go. It's making its way up the board. So the more of you that support it, the further it will get up the board. There's Democrat Aiden. I did some work on Cabal Aid a couple of weeks ago, but I haven't really been using it since then, which means that the most recent stuff that more than one person has supported will always show up. So that's why those are there. And then you've got the controversial stuff, you've got the top stuff, and you've also got there's one other thing that makes them higher. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, it's a bit more varied now, and it should show more relevant and interesting stuff, generally. Purple Princesses is still number 5. First thing I will do as a princess is ban all of you as nachos. Yeah, but you're the kind of princess that women think they are, but aren't. I.e., they have no actual power, but they want people to treat them like they do. All right, and if you would like some more Cabal credit, chat, the best way to get it is to contribute via tip.oozloo.net, and I will immediately grant you the credit. Yeah, exactly. You'll be given an unplugged controller to ban people with. The first thing Princess Nachos can do is be married off to Broken Crown to secure the alliance. I don't know. I'm not sure they're quite worthy of that union. And I think there's someone else in here that wouldn't really like her to be married off. Quite aside from the idea that Nachos wouldn't want to be married. So there's a lot of reasons that might not work. All right. Well, keep voting for Purple Princesses, chat. If you can get that to the top of the board, then we'll make it happen. Hurrying her off to Spoon. I don't know if she's Spoon's type. I mean, I don't think her penis is big enough. Aiden must peg Nachos to secure the alliance. See, like, I licked it. It's mine now. Wolf, is this where you reveal that despite sounding English, you're actually from the exact part of America where she lives, and you and her have been dating for the past few months? See. Mexico, right. Understood. Right. Well, that's, generally speaking, catastrophic. Missing an actual African. Fucking oil driller. All right. Lemon. Chat, it's Lemon. Don Lemon arrested for involvement in the St. Paul Church riots. I don't know what St. Paul Church is, to be honest, but a bit more information here. The DOJ indictment versus Don Lemon was just unsealed. City's Church is a Christian house of worship in St. Paul, Minnesota. On the morning of January 18th, approximately 10:30, the church's pastor was leading the congregation liturgical service. At that service, the church's pastor and the congregation were then exercising and seeking to exercise First Amendment, blah, blah, blah. After the service commenced, a group of approximately 20 to 40 agitators, including all of the defendants named in this indictment, entered the church in a coordinated takeover-style attack and engaged in acts of oppression, intimidation, threat, interference, and physical obstruction alleged herein. As a result of defendants' conduct, the pastor and congregation were forced to terminate the church's worship service. Congregants fled the church building out of fear for their safety. Other congregants took steps to implement an emergency plan, and young children were left to wonder, as one child put it, if their parents were going to die. God damn. Conspiracy against right of religious freedom at place of worship. So what I heard about this is that they're using literally the amendment that was created for dealing with the KKK to arrest Don Lemon. Chat, press 1 if we are generally amused by the notion that a mad left-wing radical protester, perhaps violent, who is black, is now the target of a legislation meant to target white, ethno, whatever, nationalist, supremacist, whatever. And press 1 again if Don Lemon is definitely a KKK member. I mean, he's a Democrat. Object of the conspiracy, beginning on an unknown date and continuing to on about blah, blah, blah. defendants, Don Ronaldo Lemon. He's referred to as Lemon in the thing. Conspired and agreed with one another, and with other persons known and unknown to the grand jury, to injure, oppress, threaten, and intimidate multiple persons, including the clergy, staff, and congregants of the city's church, etc., etc. And as a means, it goes on in detail. So that's interesting. Let's see if we can get a news summary of this. Former CNN presenter Don Lemon charged after covering anti-ICE protests a minute. Covering? He live streamed it. Well, no wonder he was arrested. KKK, is that in there? No. Don Lemon at KKK. Is that true? Arrested under Klan. Okay, I want to find if that's actually true. Live streaming your crimes, I know, right? On them in KKK. And I also want to see if I can find that video. Chat, if anyone can find the video, I'd appreciate it. I found the I think I found the video. Yeah, never mind, this is the video. I think. Donovan outside the Minnesota church harassing Christians as they're leaving. My lemons deserve less, very good. The Center for Baptist Leadership officially and wholeheartedly supports the arrest and prosecution of Don Lemon under the Ku Klux Klan Act for his part in aiding a wicked Black Lives Matter mob in its attack on an SBC church. Oh, don't fucking say SBC to me. Fucking Vietnam flashbacks across my eyes as I remember all the fucking trouble I've had with Bluetooth. CNN's Don Lemon blasted for not mentioning his own key role in Jussie Smollett drama. That's different. There's not much about the KKK amendment. I guess because it's not called that. Anyway, let's watch the video.
What do you think of this?
Mr. Harmless Christian here that wants to praise the Lord with my son, and now I got to go home. I'm sorry that you guys are so angry.
I'm just chronicling. I'm not with the group.
What do I have to say?
Can you understand why they're angry?
I don't understand any of this because I'm a simple man. I'm a simple man who loves the Lord and is a good father. This is what we look forward to, is coming, being with our family and praising Jesus, and that's not something that we have to run away from. So this is kind of a bad day for us. But, we're going to heaven, so that's the best news we got.
Do you understand?
He's very religious, isn't he? It sounds like, I'm not trying to be mean, because, I'm not religious, but it does sound like he has made religion a very significant part of his personality, perhaps a bit too much. Alan says, I wonder what Corinne's take on this is. Is it bad because feds are pressing free expression, or is it bad because nothing will happen to them? It's all theater. Well, we could ask Aiden. I'm sure we get a similar answer. So, okay, in this clip, it doesn't look like he's actually doing anything particularly bad, but he has, like, the DOJ seem to think that he conspired to do this. Thank you, Aiden. That is apparently the act. It is called the Ku Klux Klan Act, or not exactly, but known as, okay. Intended to combat the paramilitary vigilantism of the Ku Klux Klan, the act made certain acts committed by private persons federal offenses, including conspiring to deprive citizens of their right to hold office, serve on juries, or enjoy the equal protection of law. The act authorized the president to deploy federal troops to counter the Klan and to suspend the writ of habeas corpus to make arrests without charge.
Understand that some of these folks feel voiceless?
I don't understand because right now I'm so upset right now. I don't really have I'm thirsty and I can't think very clearly. So what I want to do is just say, we love you. My son and I love you guys. And that's
I'm a journalist. They're activists.
The simplest thing we can say is that we love you guys.
What do you mean you? Freedom of speech and freedom to assemble and protest. I'm surprised that law enforcement has not showed up yet. We're going to take you outside of the church. What do you think of this?
Mr. Harmless Christian here that wants to praise the Lord with my son.
So at the beginning of this video, he was indeed inside the church.
Yeah, that was interesting to watch. This guy here, look, he's hugging his kid. And, I imagine it's uncomfortable and traumatic for the people here. But again, careful, it's very slippery right here. It's uncomfortable and traumatic for the people here, but that's what really, careful, please, really slippery. Not kidding. That's what protesting is about. And so.
Well, from the reports, again, we don't usually have a legal document like this to give us an idea of what happened. Of course, it doesn't have to be true, but from the reports, it doesn't sound like, well, that's just what protesting's about. No, coming into someone else's building, I don't know exactly whether it counts as private property or not, it probably is. Coming into someone else's private property and like shouting them down to prevent them from speaking. And really, the Christians there, they may have called the police, or I don't know, but given the choice, do you either, one, give up your right to assemble and your willingness to engage in your faith and just leave and let the leftist radicals run rampant over your church? Or do you, two, remove them if the police don't show up? I imagine that all of these people were not the sort of military type. They were older, or perhaps with their families, didn't really feel like having a fight. Understandable. Still. Penalties. First offense, non-violent, 6 months in prison. First offense, violent, in prison. I think that's in general. So we don't really know what he did. Interesting. Could do a video on this, actually.
The operation together. So they're getting the operation together. Again, this is an operation that is secret, that they invited folks out. Can't tell you what is going to happen, but you're going to watch it live unfold here on the Don Lemon Show. There are for this reason it may look like MAGA coded, but there's a reason they have so many white people here. I'm just going to be honest. It's because of the operation that they're doing today. It's important to have allies, as they said.
What the fuck? Anyone else find this just really disturbing? It's MAGA coded. Why? Because there's white people there. No, there's white people there because it's a snowy environment and it's also America. And also, that's the kind of person who really cares about this shit. I mean, if it was black people there, I think it would be going quite differently. That's usually what happens.
White allies here. So that is what I could say. I turned our camera off of them because they're giving some critical information here. But there we go. Everybody's ready to go.
A journalist who avoids documenting critical information. Yeah, it doesn't sound much like a journalist to me. As they say here, he was actively assisting them. He was letting them get an advantage. Yeah, that's not great, is it?
What's that going to mean?
This is a white supremacist agenda.
Why do you say that?
Fuck off.
No, me, dude. I'm
You're
not
on
here.
Whose team are you on?
Come on, man.
Don Lemon.
This is Don Lemon.
All right, man.
All right. Well,
Sorry, brother. I'm so sorry.
Really?
No, I'm so sorry.
On our team.
Yeah. So why do you say that? What's that going to
This is
mean?
a white supremacist agenda.
Why do you say that?
Fuck off.
No, me, dude. I'm
A white leftist yelling at a black journalist saying this is a white supremacist agenda. Well, the people there think Don Lemon's on their team. It doesn't necessarily mean that he was conspiring with them. However, the DOJ indictment does say that he was. So yeah. Supposed to be covering the Grammys of his assigned role in storming a church. Okay, more video here. Good cross shot of the church and the disruption.
This is the beginning. This is the beginning of what's going to happen here. when you violate people's due process, when you pull people off the street, you start dragging them and hurting them and not abiding by the Constitution, when you start doing all of that, people get upset and angry. And if you remember what the civil rights movement was about, the civil rights movement.
All right, enough of your preaching. Borders do need to be enforced, retard. But yeah, there he is, and there's the disruption, as you rightly intonated. So yeah, that's not a protest, and that is private property. So the fact that the police didn't do anything, and that's grounds for some sort of alternative action, isn't it? Stupid smug face. He was arrested. Yeah, I have enough confidence in whichever police were involved in this to arrested him that he wasn't actually just documenting it. I mean, like, this is a crime. And not just what they're doing, what he's doing. I mean, I don't know, like maybe it being private property and they would say like all are welcome. If they say that, a little bit more questionable as to whether they shouldn't be in there. Nacho says, I'm an atheist, but this is beyond the pale. You don't go into a church and do this kind of shit if you wanted to protest outside, whatever. This is fucked up. It sure is. This is not even a religious matter. It's just a normal decency matter. Apparently against the law to do this. They were asked to leave multiple times, though. Yeah, that's fair then.
Renee good! Renee good! Renee good! Renee good! Justice for Renee good! Justice for Renee good! Hands up! Hands up! Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
God, they're such faggots. Neither of the people shot had their hands up. Neither of them were cooperating. One of them probably tried to kill the officers. The other one had a gun, though he wasn't using it at the time. There was an understandable misunderstanding that led to him being shot, but he did get in the way of law enforcement that day. Pants up, don't loot. True. They also blocked the parishioners from leaving and broke one of the churchgoers' arms. Jesus. I didn't see that. What a horrible situation in general, though. The police deciding to now do something is good, but a little bit late. I mean, that's what I've heard that they are. Probably because Trump lent on walls. That's a good gif. It does always go that way, doesn't it? All right. Thunderman arrested. I doubt he'll. It'll probably be a slap on the wrist or something. I would guess it's his first offense. But it might not be. They might try and go harder on him. So yeah, but it's other things you could speculate. They wanted to cause a crush. Yeah, possibly. Branca brought up a good point about Pretty when one officer disarmed him and another officer saw empty holster, but not that he was disarmed and saw something in his hand. It became much more reasonable for that officer to believe Pretty got his gun into his hand. Maybe. The problem is I don't think he had a holster. I think it was just tucked into his trousers at the back. I didn't see a holster at any point. I didn't know that there was one. But that would be a decent explanation if that had happened. Maybe that is what happened. But I don't think there was a holster. Should find a good churchman. Sorry to hear it. Ass crack carry, yeah, indeed. I mean, imagine, like, I know very little about guns, but I have heard the meme about the SIG and how it shoots without consent. And I've seen the video of someone testing it. Imagine taking one of those and pointing it down your ass crack and then going to something where you might get, like, pushed. Even just going out in cold weather where you might slip up. I mean, he could have been, it's, you know, initially, all he was going to get was pepper sprayed. Then he started grabbing that woman. But he could have had a chunk of his ass blown out without getting there before he even arrived on the scene. You know, that would have been better for him, actually. Not just as he was going for the officer's gun. I didn't see any indication of that in the video. Appendix carry on the front, yeah. He did shove his hand down his junk and force some dude to smell it. What, Don Lemon? He seems an odd one. Don Renaldo Lemon. Mike Brown, not the Minnesota stuff. Mike Brown is a very different story. I mean, that was like 12 years ago. He was the one who literally charged at the officer after reaching in through the officer's window and like beating him. Mike Brown was very clearly in the wrong. It was a good, a justified shot in that case. And yet that was the whole riot was over that. It wasn't a holster, as I said. Looking at the footage, it didn't look like it when I saw it. It didn't look like it, but maybe. We were talking about it for the hands up, don't shoot chant further up in chat. Okay, fair enough. Was that about Mike Brown? His hands were not up. He was literally charging down the officer. And Mike Brown was like 6'7" or something. He was huge. Deserved to be shot for owning a SIG. All right, let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, government shutdown. Great. Just what the US needs. Memorandum to the heads of executive departments and agencies. Appropriations provided for the following bills. Very dense language. Now clear that Congress will not complete its work before the expiration of appropriations. Affected agencies should now execute plans for an orderly shutdown. Employees should report to work for the next regularly scheduled tour of duty to undertake orderly shutdown activities. The admin will continue working with the Congress to address recently raised concerns to complete appropriations fiscal year, blah, blah, blah. Really appreciate, blah, blah, blah. So another shutdown. What it sounds like it's over the same thing as before. Most people didn't even feel the last shutdown. No, I think they may have done if it had gone on any longer, but maybe not. I don't know. Government shutdown. US government shutdown. Partially shuts down despite last-minute funding deal. Might not amount to anything then. US federal shutdown, partially shut down. Funding lapse began midnight US Eastern Time. Hours after senators agreed to fund most agencies until September. The bill includes just 2 weeks funding for the Department of Homeland Security, which oversees immigration enforcement instead of shutting it down entirely. The bill is yet to be approved by the House of Representatives, which is out of session. Trump struck the deal with Democrats after they refused to give more funding for immigration enforcement following the fatal shooting of 2 US citizens in Minneapolis by federal agents. Second such government shutdown the past year. Yeah, unlikely to be that long or widespread. Okay, fair enough. So it's probably not going to be that consequential. Yeah, the Mike Brown thing was 2014. You sure? So not likely to be as consequential as the last one. Okay, chat. We're at 2 hours 48 minutes. I'm already starting this stream with not really enough sleep. So I'm thinking either we will do that video now, or I will save this idea until next time, because I don't know if I have the energy to do that today. But if we save it until next time, then what we'll do instead, and I will do this idea, it doesn't have to be today. I do want to do it. It doesn't have to be today. I've introduced you to the concept anyway. So if we do, it'll be tomorrow, because I'm streaming again tomorrow. So we may do that. If we do that, and we save it until next time, then today we will do, as I always intend to do, we'll do some sort of watch event after the stream. Perhaps we'll continue with Spy X Family, which is very good actually, or we could continue with Stargate, which is pretty popular. So we'll consider that. for now, I guess it's up to me. I guess with how much energy I have. I think I probably should leave it because I don't have. I don't want to be going for very much longer. You probably notice I've been at a lower energy today anyway, chat. My sleep's very out. So press 1 to make me attempt to do it anyway, and press 2 to wind down with just the rest of the news stories that I have. 5 for meth, says Abla. I'm afraid I don't have any. I have a little bit left in this can, but that's about it. Not meth, though. Monster Energy. Nachos, are you saying 2, which is just... Are you offering meth, Nachos? Are you saying 2, which is the merciful option, specifically because you're being nice, or do you have some sort of ulterior motive? Because you know what I'm going to say if you're just being nice, if you're just saying the thing that's kinder to me. You know what I'm going to say, don't you? I'm going to say, it's your mother instincts. That's right. It's your motherly instincts, Nachos. God knows, she says. Wolf, you got to fix this. You got to fix this. She desperately wants and needs to be one. It says, have you discussed about Miami Beach mayor overstepping with a citizen? What was it recently, A-Bit, that you wanted me to cover on stream? Because I didn't remember it, but I did say, like, as long as you're around, we'll do it. So if I can't remember what it was, but if you want to do that now, we can. Miami Beach mayor overstepping with a citizen. I can't remember what, was that the thing you recommended we talk about? I think it was a few days ago you mentioned this, wasn't it? And I wasn't ignoring it. It was just, I just didn't remember. There's a lot going on. No, I don't, Nacho said, lying as easily as she breathed. Repository. I can't see. I guess it wouldn't have been from you, or would it? You posted repository? Or did I put it in repository? I can't remember. I'm not sure what you mean, mate, but how long ago was it? It's her motherly. It's not her motherly instinct. She wants you to forget about Princess and Purple Princess. That's a good point, chat. The current state of the board is that Purple Princess is almost at the top. It's in 5th. So if anyone has just a little bit of Cabal credit, they would only need that 9 quids worth. So 900 Cabal credit would be enough to get all 3 of the purple women renamed princess of themselves. Britway, if you do /leaders, then you can see exactly. I did see that you redeemed, but it doesn't seem to have affected the board yet. I'm not sure why. That's odd. I wonder why. It should have done. Let me try reloading the bot. That has happened before, but that should work. Okay, the bot's reloaded. Let's try it again. It needs a minute when it's just booted up. No, it still hasn't moved its position. Is it possible, Wolf, that after you, when you supported all those new things, it was actually, you already supported a bunch of the other stuff that's already up at the top anyway? But thinking it should have still increased the amount. I don't know, that's odd. Aside from everything else on my plate, I suppose I also need to work on this, because that does seem like it just is wrong. Maybe we'll. So are you sure that you're actually supporting that specific cause, the topic, Purple Princesses? I expect you are. But I don't know why that didn't work. Like, usually this works. Not sure what we've done. What are you actually? No, you're not. That would be why. You weren't actually supporting Purple Princesses. You were just supporting princesses. So, princesses. So let's have a look again. You have just done that. I think it's possible that what you just entered should have worked, but it might not have matched. Oh, you you put two E's in print. You just put Purple Princesses. How dare you make me think my code isn't working properly when it's entirely your ability to spell? That's the problem. Well, we found what it was, chat. It wasn't my code for once. As soon as you actually enter it correctly, just copy it from the Kabale leaderboard itself. As soon as you enter it correctly, it should actually work, and then we'll make it happen. That just says he wants to be a princess. Ah, but he's not purple though, you see. Conflicting images looking awful close to purple, to be honest. Purple parentheses. I mean, if you don't want to be purple princesses, Wolf, you don't have to. How does this newfangled economy system work? Been out of the loop for a bit. Yeah, no worries. /C will show you your balance. If you contribute, it increases your credit. You can then redeem, your credit doesn't decay. You can then redeem credit into influence. Influence does decay, but influence affects the Kabale board. You can then do /leaders to see the board, as I'm doing here. And you can use support and denounce. It's like the old system, but you have way more access to the internals now. You just got, it's more complex, and I will work on that in future to add like a simple front layer. But you got much more control of what you can do, and typos don't really affect it anymore. So everything that you use /support is boosted by your influence. Everything that you /denounce is reduced by your influence. Skill issue, Wolf. See, he still hasn't done it. He still hasn't done it. Wolf says he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. She's threatening not to send him any more booba pics if he supports it. That's weird. I mean, that sounds almost as if she was sending you booba pics in the first place. I mean, obviously that's not true. She doesn't have any. Right, Nachos? Wolf still has not supported Purple Princesses, by the way. So it still hasn't happened. Oh, and one person's denouncing it now. So you actually need more money now. Someone has started denouncing it, and that has caused it to drop quite a long way down. Oh, yeah, I can see who it was. Okay, it looks like you finally spelt it correctly. Well done. Oh, wait, that wasn't even Wolf. Wolf still hasn't done it. But, oh, no, sorry, I misread it. That was Wolf. Okay, that has now worked. My code was not the problem. However, you have been preempted because someone denounced it. And so now someone else needs to fight against them and redeem a bit more. It's currently at, what is that? It's about £39 behind where it needs to be. That's how much of a difference someone else has just made. So there you go. There's the board. You can see Purple Princess is now in 10th. So it's been made a bit more difficult. But are you really going to let them win? Guys, are you really going to let them win? Tell you what, let me give you an introductory thing. Meat Bun, I have given you some Cabal credit. Do with it what you will. Nacho says, it actually wasn't me. I want to lord over y'all now, lol. I certainly would not reveal who it was, but I would be careful in trusting any femoid, is all I'll say. So there you go. There's the options. Purple princesses. Yeah, I said earlier, not that time. I mean, okay, yeah. What the fuck is a purple princess? This is name color. Yes. The reference is that all of these women just want to be princesses because purple is a royal color. I think, and like, what appellation would they less rather be called? I mean, I suppose, like, should we call them feminists instead? Women want to be property. The meme is, I noticed that 8-Bit, Aiden, and Nachos all use purple. And there's not that many other people on the server that do use purple. Who made that noise? What are these fucking noises? Who was that? Appellation is Appalachian, yes. I think it was Serpent, yeah. Hey, Serpent of the Night, why are you shouting into the mic? I have a quick and easy solution for you. There you go. Oh yeah, Nakavine's obviously also a princess. Yes, being purple. The question is, why are they purple? When the answer may have been royalty is associated with purple, and thus they're all princesses. And you know, being that they're women in Cabal, they are pretty low on the femininity scale, and thus would find being called a princess disconcerting. Although I'm pretty sure they'd rather be called princess than feminist, which is also an option. There you go. It is an option. But yeah, the position on the leaderboard of purple princesses is still unchanged. But you can move it up. If you would like. Ban Spirit. I mean, just for good measure. Ice says that's probably too mean, calling them feminists. Are we saying ban Spirit because of what he just posted? I didn't actually look at it, but yeah. Do it anyway. John Wick, everything in Saints Row 3 is already purple. It's purple by default. That's the theme of the game. Nakavine has no idea what's going on. You are being princessed. Do not resist. There we go. Now Nakavine is well informed on the situation. Oh yeah, the purple stuff. Aiden, post the Das Bullshit version. Nakavine insists he is still to this day not a woman. Somnus is not sure what he just walked in on. What does that mean? Is Jerry is the name? We're princessing Jerry. We're princessing. There we go. Nakavine secret tranny. Don't make me assign you a tranny flag roll. Chat, press 1 if we need to make a new roll, which bestows the tranny flag, and then force it upon Nakavine. Oh God, now I have to go do this. Chat /support Tranakivine. It seems Nakavine's not happy with this. COO, you can get that. We now have Purple Princess and Tranakivine as 2 options. I think there's a chance of getting Tranakivine quite high, actually, because Purple Princess has been denounced by someone. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and /support ban Spirit now because he keeps posting MLP shit. Can we not just choose topics that are easier to spell? Is it too difficult? What I need to do actually is when someone does a support, I should have some buttons underneath that you can just click to agree. I should add that because that would be very convenient. Oh, looks like I already did support banning Spirit. Operating on half brain power here. What, like half of a normal person? We know. Support buttons. Yeah, I should do that. There's a few changes I want to make to the system, including I want to do this thing, right, where you guys will like this, where I can type in a command and then anyone who supports something that I specify gets Cabal credit. Now I can do like anyone who supports it for the last minute, so it's like there's a threshold there. So that's easy. But what we can do with this is we can do like bets and predictions and house rewards and stuff like that. And we can also do horse bouncing. We can have an entire horse bouncing stream where we all just bet on the horses based on the color. And then I will just reward the winner every time. And we can all make a lot of money. Spirit will be banned from this stream. He will not be allowed to attend the horse bouncing stream. But yeah, that's an event that we could do. Wouldn't even have to be a stream. We could just get into a voice chat and do horse bouncing. Yes, Spirit, I'm quite aware of that potential interpretation of the phrase horse bouncing. We discussed horse bouncing a while ago, and luckily you missed it. But if you can get horse bouncing to 2.5k or more, then we'll wrap up the stream with some horse bouncing. That's something Cenk Yuga would like. For those who don't know, horse bouncing is a sport which is played on the internet on your local computer, which simulates the actual reality of horse racing, in which you can bet on your preferred horse. And Aiden likes it, and the rest of chat is mixed on liking it, but we could do that at the end of the stream. Yeah, at some point we should do just do a fucking horse bouncing stream, where if I add that feature, we can just bet on the horses. It doesn't even matter if people don't enter a bet. I just reward whoever has bet on that thing. I suppose I could say like I could set a beginning time threshold and an ending time threshold as well. Oh, horse bouncing is being supported. It's up to enough. Someone that's contributed, has redeemed generously, has supported it. Wow, someone really wants horse bouncing to go ahead. All right, the leaderboard may have just been nudged. Tranakavine is now in 3rd. Horse Bouncing's in 7th. Oh, Horse Bouncing has been denounced, but it hasn't done much. Let's see where is Purple Princess actually? Because that's off the board currently. Purple Princesses. That just wants me to stop saying horse bouncing. Are you worried that I'm titillating Spirit? Unfortunately, Purple Princesses is not that close to the top of the board now, but Tranakavine's quite close. And the thing is, Nakavine doesn't know how to denounce things, so he can't stop you. Horse Bouncing is once again being denounced, but it isn't doing much, because as you can see, Horse Bouncing is now quite strongly supported. So whoever voted for it, were you just trying to troll the stream? If you were, so be it. We'll do that. And my plan today was to do this video project thing, but I'm just too tired. We'll do it tomorrow. I'll try and be awake for it tomorrow. My sleep has been really off recently. I don't know why. Says votes matter, votes don't matter. Okay, so I did make a change a little while ago where the actual vote number doesn't currently do anything, which is why I have not said that it does since making that change. It did when I said it did. It doesn't now that I'm not saying it does. But I will probably add that again in future. I'm just not sure how I want to do it. Vil genuinely enjoys the horse bouncing. Fair enough. Well, I mean, yeah, it does kind of mimic like a corrupt democracy where you can vote and it'll show up, but it's just the it's just the paid influence that matters. Well, either way, Tranakavine is now in 2nd place, and Horse Bouncing is easily high enough for us to wrap up the stream on it. So, Spirit, you're going to get to see what real horse bouncing looks like. And I guess we'll do this for a bit and then we'll wrap up the stream. So, let's bounce some horses. All right, chat, place your bets. Which of these horses will win? I don't know if it's going to go on its own. I've had to press something. Oh, here it goes. It has begun. I don't know if there's supposed to be sound. I don't think so. If there is, it's not working, but we don't really need it. Orange off to a startling start, with blue close behind. Orange really making some progress, and now immediately reversing that progress. And blue's taken the lead. Blue now rocketing ahead. Yeah, really, as orange is catching up. Blue really finding the path today, with orange fairly close behind. Spirit to glue factory. Blue really finding that path very conveniently. Every bounce seems purpose-made to find those carrots. He's almost there, for goodness sake. Orange coming up behind. Oh, blue deciding to go back. Orange going with him for some reason. Aiden's bet on pink is not looking super likely. Orange now finding its way into the carrot lair, and it's just narrowly missed. White's really struggling. Blue really is just going on a little exploration, adventure back in the wrong direction. Orange staying where it matters. Orange now very, very close to the carrots, but once again, missing them entirely. Yellow now coming in for an attempt on the carrots, but instead giving a boost back to orange. Oh, yellow and orange almost neck and neck there. Blue once again coming in for a second or perhaps third try. Blue being nudged by orange towards the carrots. Very advantageous for blue here, despite orange's best intentions. Looks like blue has won. Vil and Ice were correct. I tell you what, yeah, fuck it. This is going to be a lot of effort, but Grant Vil amount 500 horse bouncing, and then grant ice. What is your fucking agent ice? Grant agent ice amount 500 horse bouncing. There you go. I'll give 500 to anyone who correctly predicts the winner, and you have to put your bets in near the start, right near the start. Don't do /support, Blue. I mean, you can, but I haven't added the system yet that will do that, and I actually can't currently get who supports something. Although, I can read off of who has actually entered the support. I can like read out my DMs because I get an alert every time it happens. So actually, we could do that. You could just do /support. Thank you very much, Born, for the generous contribution. For the sake of the memes, I'm going to go ahead and give you your due. Out 5, 1, 6, 4. Once again, it's the Discord system's erroring when I try to enter your mention. Just have to enter your ID. There you go. You should have got that. Okay. So yeah, I'll allow bets to be made either through /support or just typing them out. But place your bets when I think I'll change this. Horse bouncer. That's now what this stream is. Horse bouncing. Ready to place your bets, chat. We'll say place your bets at or maybe just after, a little bit of leniency, at or just after it shows place your bets. So get ready now to place your bets. Ready? Place your bets, chat. Type in the color or do /support the color. Type in the color you want to bet on, and the winners will get 500 Cabal credit each. Brown off to a fast start. Dark grey, and now white steaming ahead. This is the ambition of Agartha. White making a direct beeline down the southern straight there. But now nudging back. He's stuck in a divot. Dark grey and orange trying to muscle in behind. And dark grey takes a lead as white goes the wrong way. Oh, but white's found his way into a divot and is now back in the lead as dark grey peruses backwards up the track. Now, white getting stuck, white dropping well behind, dark grey and orange jumping ahead. Dark grey finding his way not straight down the straight, but still finding his way down there. Managing to get up the furthest so far. Might dark grey just win it here? Would certainly be advantageous for literally no one bet on him. Literally no one bet at the beginning on grey. Malcadilla says that he said dark white. Nope, you fucking didn't. Conflicting images bet grey in the middle of the game. Too late. Sorry, lads. No one won that one. What are the colours again? I was distracted. They're on the fucking screen. Next round. Yes, indeed. Next round. Place your bets, everyone. Puckers make a poll. There's no need to. It would be too, it would take too long. Place your bets, chat. All right. Game started. Nachos was the last one to get it in. I'll be generous. I'll allow, Pug and Sandshark as well. But beyond that, no more bets. All right, grey and brown ahead. Grey a little bit stuck. Oh, and now going backwards. Anyone's game. I'm imagining grey is the neutral aliens from Futurama. And white steaming ahead. White clearly has achieved supremacy here. Bouncing into the furthest point forward so far. And looking pretty good to potentially take it all. Could he do it? Oh, no, he's bouncing backwards again. Seems like these bounces are not in his favor. Maybe another chance now. Entering the final straight. No one's really that close. Oh, and he's gone the wrong way. Now Dark Grey's taken it. Will Dark Grey win right here? 2 in a row. Dark Grey wins it again. Unexpected, 2 in a row. Now, who voted for Grey, assuming that he could win twice in a row? Only one person that I can see voted for Grey, and that was Vil, who has now won 2 of these. Out of 3, she's won 2 of them. / Grant, Vil, about 500. Horse bouncing. Congratulations, Vil, for winning a second one. And now, next round. Get ready to place your bets, everyone. That horse may be doping. Get ready to place your bets, everyone. 3, 2, 1. Place your bets. Sanchar going for Grey. Quite a lot more people now going for Grey. That horse is fucking gifted. All right, we're starting. All right, I'll allow up to conflicting images, but no further than that. Orange and red making an early break. Orange finding a path, while most others are still in the opening box. Orange finding a way backwards, though, and red steaming ahead now. Undercutting orange. Red's got the furthest so far, but not by much. Now orange back in leapfrogged over him. Most of the competitors still in the starting box, but they could make a surprise comeback. White now finally escaping the starting box as orange and red still bouncing around the furthest ahead area. Red now ahead, and he's made it just narrowly further than has been made before. And now orange steaming ahead to the furthest point, but giving up and going back. It's a bit too scary out there, I suppose. Orange and red now bouncing for dominance, and red making his way ahead. Will he? Yes. Red looks like he's going across the path of the exit. Red is beyond halfway, but white's coming in behind him. White, who was stuck in the starting box for so much of the round, is now in the lead. And red's going backwards. White's finding his way all the way down. Oh, and now white's going backwards. Red managing to find his way ahead of white now. Bouncing white out of the way, but there's a bit of a tussle. Red and white still ahead, but oh, white's heading backwards, and red is staying put about 3/4 of the way down. And a sudden surprise jerk away from the wrong direction has led red towards about 90% through the maze. He's very close now. This could be it for red. This could all be over. And he's gone the wrong way. White steaming down now, potentially making a pass for victory. Oh no, red's made it. Red's made it in. He's so close. But he's just narrowly missed, and now he's leaving. Everyone shout at your horse. Really, trust me, it does work. Red, really the only one now with a significant chance. It's looking good for red, and it's red. Red's taken it. With a lucky bounce at the end there. All right, who voted red? Nachos this time voted red. And Ravalon. All right, it was Nachos and Ravalon voted red. Yep, that looks about right. This is what the internet was invented for, says Aiden. Grant, Nachos, 500. Horse bouncing. Grant, Ravalon, 500. Horse bouncing. Chat, press 1 if you prefer politics. Press 2 if you prefer this. Next round, place your bets. Born! Conflicting images voting for Born. All right, get your votes in quickly, chat. No more after Aiden's. White's drawing a line. Thank you. Sorry, Ice is drawing a line. Thank you, Ice. It's very useful. Genuinely. That's a good reminder. All right, White's well ahead very quickly. Clearly showing himself to be supreme, although he hasn't won a single round yet. I don't think. Today. White's made his way backwards, and now Brown moving in all the way from the toilet. No, Brown's leaving. White and red bouncing for nothing. No clear winner emerging. White with a potential break there, but missing it. Red now bounced into the correct direction, but looks like he's about to be bounced back out again. It's a possibility he might stay in. Oh, White had a chance, but was bounced out by Red. Now White's the furthest, but still idling. Grey moving in now, potentially, but missed it. Red is in, and Red is getting fairly far now. Red is moving ahead. Could this be another victory for Red? Red's made it through that narrow corridor. Would expect that to take a lot more attempts. Red's making it in. Red might get it. This is potentially the end. Will Red win? Oh, he's managed to find his way through the narrow exit. Clutching defeat from the jaws of victory. So close. Red still with the best shot of getting it, though, with yellow and grey fair way behind still to get through that narrow corridor. But it doesn't seem likely. Grey with a chance. Grey through the corridor. Grey with a serious shot of winning now. Seems very likely. Grey wins it. Hacks says it. All right, let's see who voted for Grey. By the way, if anyone tries to edit their message to make it look like they voted for a horse they didn't, they will be disqualified from winning any future round. Nachos voted for Grey, and no one else did. Oh no, Vil did. Vil has now won, 3 out of 5 of these? That's a shockingly high rate. Does this prove horoscopy is true? Are you predicting this with your magic powers, Vil? Okay, so yeah, it's Nachos and Vil. Let me know if I missed anyone, chat. Vil is a witch. Grant, Nachos, 500. Horse bouncing. Grant. I can't believe Vil's won 3 out of 5 of them. Horse bouncing. Someone drug test out. Grey's doing really well as well. Vil's got a 6th sense. Apparently you do, yeah. NTS is going to poison the Grey horse. All right. Next round. Get ready to place your bets, everyone. 3, 2, 1. Place your bets. At this point, you all know what colors are available. So you're just picking one. I don't know, this is weird to me because I don't really enjoy betting on things, but you all were just willing to throw out a fucking name. Then again, it's not like you lose anything if you lose. It's just gain. So why not bet on something? There's no risk. I don't mind that. That's fine. All right. Got orange, blue, and white now. And white, once again, for some reason, pulling ahead. Will it be yet another occasion where white looks to be doing well and then throws it all away? Yeah, currently, yes. White's found the narrow path backwards. Difficult though it was to find, he has found it. Orange with possibly the best chance here. White sneaking through in the right direction. White with the best chance now. But failing that bounce, that difficult bounce towards the end there, with red storming past him. Now blue moving up with a possibility as well. Oh, and white's been bounced by coincidence directly towards the apples and carrots, and there he is. White wins it. Congratulations, white. We finally, white actually won one. All right. Who voted for white? Britwit, Malcatillo. Whatever Vil chooses. Britwit and Malcatillo. I think just those two. Looks like it, yeah. Thank you, Weiss, for drawing that line. That does help, actually. Britwit and Malcatillo get the coins. Is this horse bouncing or liberal race simulator? It's a bit of both. Grant, Brit, Twit, 500, horse, bouncing. The white one because it's dented, yeah. It was Britwit and Malcatillo. Grant, Malcatillo, 500, horse, bouncing. There we go. Yeah, it does look like the brainlet. What would you call it? I can't remember the name of that meme character now. It's weird. Wojak, brainlet Wojak. Thank you. Okay, are you all ready for one more? Well, we might do more than one more, actually, but... Okay, place your bets now. Damn, this is content for days. All right, orange with the early lead. This map seems a bit easier. Orange with a great angle straight off the bat. He might win this very quickly. With a few others behind, including white. Blue probably the closest other than orange. Orange veering off course a bit now. Blocked from the prize by a big block. Blue and white moving in. Brown taking an unusual angle towards the carrots. Probably not going to get there quickly. Yellow with a shot. Orange with a decent bounce here. Orange with a nice shot. Brown getting fairly close, but bouncing out the area. Everyone just narrowly missing it. Gray and brown seem to have decent angles. Gray might be able to get in there. Oh, that's white eking in, but just missing. Very close. Yellow now. Yellow's in. Yellow's in. Will yellow get it? Yellow gets it. That is the first time yellow has won. Congratulations to yellow. Ravelon voting picked yellow. And no one else, I don't think. First time yellow's got into the sort of first the podium positions. Yeah, the brown is very sad.